Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Happy Friday.
Hey.
Hey, happy Friday. It's great to be with you guys. Wow, there's a lot to talk about today, and yet also not a lot to talk about today.
So, question before I start getting bombarded. One, there is a pet show tomorrow. She has to decide about Sunday. So before Demanda starts barking.
How about a little Mother's Day love? You guys want to get up together?
We did last year.
Do you want to do a little Mother's Day love? Let's do it. I'll see you Sunday, 7 o'clock. I'll wear a tiara. Not much else. That sounds gross.
Yeah.
Like an old ratty t-shirt. Usually those are my PJs. Right? If I had /Wendy, I would totally wear it, but I don't. So, like, whatever.
We did Mother's Day last year.
We have a very exciting sponsor next week, Brock. They reached out to us before. I have to get us some free merch.
Did I know about this?
The red light guys.
Really?
I see it on my air table right now. So we've got a good sponsor for you guys next week. You're going to love it. Oh, by the way. Oh, let me say something to you. All right. So Tulip Blooms. I got an email, Brock. You'll like this. So I got an email from Tulip Blooms. What? Did I interrupt you for
No,
something?
you're like, you'll like this. Why will...
Oh, well, because we both love Tulip Blooms.
Oh, okay.
So Tulip Blooms, you guys know this is the... I actually need to put some on because I just filed my nails. Oh, it feels wonderful. All right. So apparently from today through May 11th, anyone who goes to tulipblooms.shop/Wendy who makes a purchase of over $100, it's like two things, right? Is going to get a free mini rainfall with their purchase, which is one of the most loved moisturizers that this company has ever made. It's especially for skin that has spent time in the sun. It is beautiful after a long summer day, after swimming, after gardening, after beach trips, anytime that skin feels warm, dry, or in need of comfort. It leaves skin feeling soft and nourished and renewed like rain after a hot
Wait,
day.
have you been holding out on me? Do you know about this?
No, I found out about it this morning as I got the email from the Ashley and Patrick. They're like, we're going to do this.
I have dry feet and elbows.
Well, they said this includes unscented lavender, rose geranium, and sweet orange. Customers receive a free mini rainfall purchase or rainfall with every purchase over $100. Promo runs May 8th through the 11th. No code needed for the free gift. Your creator code can still be used at checkout. Great to promote as a Mother's Day treat, after sun care favorite, body care add-on, after shower ritual, or a giftable self-care moment. So you want to try that? I'll have them send it some. I'll have them send
I think it on my elbow. My elbows get really dry.
But that's what this does. That's what that does. Why
Yeah,
don't
but I
you
use
put
that
it
on my feet. Yeah, but
why wouldn't you put it on your elbows?
I don't know. I didn't think about putting.
Why don't you put it? Let's do this. Put it on. Put it
I
on
can't
at
because
some
I
point.
wear long sleeves.
No, you let it absorb, and then we'll see. In a half of an hour or 10 minutes how it feels.
I want to feel pretty too.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Hey.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll say I feel pretty, and you're like, Carl,
what does a gay horsey eat?
Hey.
Anywho, tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. They've really been excited about your reaction to their products.
You people in your man card, this stuff does not affect your man card.
No, it's fantastic.
Like,
Epic
please.
moisture and the satin balm. And the castor blend. This is
totally in touch with my male prettiness.
And then, of course, there's the Tulip Soothe. I have them all. I don't want to leave them in here because it's not like anybody has stolen from me here. But
I might have to stop
if they were gonna steal this stuff. Tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. So this is going to be today through Monday. Today through Monday, the extra added gift, the rainfall. Anywho, how's everybody? Did you see they released some of the files?
Yeah, I got a text this morning.
Yeah.
As soon as they went live.
Yep.
Live.
We were pestering a couple people we knew, trying to figure out if we could get any insight. Didn't get any insight, but we did get told right away when the stuff dropped. I'm not surprised by what it is and what it is not. I think Tim Burchett has told us. I don't know if we'll get to that sound today, Brock. That might be one that ends on the cutting room floor, but we'll have to see. I mean, he was on with Joe Rogan, Tim Burchett was, and he's like, you're going to see something. It's not going to be the story. It's not going to be everything, but they're going to try to drip it out.
Maybe we put that in the bottom before.
You want to try that?
Yeah.
So where would that go then? That's at 2. What do I have there?
No,
I have it at bottom of 1.
Or start with it and say, here's what we know now.
All right. No.
All right, here we go.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. How's everybody? Hi. You totally should rumble. Duh.
Yeah, right?
Like, what are you doing?
Wait. Don't wait.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Happy Friday to all of you, and greetings across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program, Common Sense Conservatism. That's what it is. It's simple. It's not complicated, low calorie. In fact, we're cheap. We're free. All you have to do is show up, have an open mind, and realize that if you love this country, if you support this president and his efforts to make America great again, then you're going to find a lot of similar thoughts on this program. We're going to talk about what you feel. We're going to put it into words. We're going to share your frustration. And every single day, we're going to tell you the truth, because that is what we do. And that's what sets us apart. WendyBellRadio.com if you'd like to follow the live video stream. Thank you for being a part of this family. We love you. At least I do. I can't speak for Brock. He's kind of weird that way. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, I'm sitting down here at the computer a few moments before we go live, and this comes across my Twitter feed just in a stunning turnaround. Republicans now hold the national edge in the 2026 House ratings after the Virginia Supreme Court strikes down the 10 Democrat to 1 Republican map. Hakeem Jeffries apparently on the warpath. This means 211 Republicans to 208 Democrats and 16 seats, kind of as a toss-up right now. And this is before the red Southern redistricting across a combination of Tennessee, Louisiana, Alabama, South Carolina, all this stuff that's coming. The redistricting war has become an utter disaster for the Democrats. 100%. 100%. You know, that's what this is, what you and I are experiencing right now, which is wild. And it's fun when you see the Democrats try to blame President Trump for the problems that they've caused. It's a great unwinding, isn't it? It's like all of a sudden we're starting to see the unwinding of so much of the bogus crap that they foisted upon us. Did you guys catch the UN climate people, the group that's supposed to be the grand wizards of the weather? And they're like, oh, It's going to be a catastrophe. The polar ice caps, they've melted. No. And then they're like, oh, yeah, about that. Wah, wah. That's not really true. None of this stuff is true. All the alarmist stuff. Yeah, that's not true. We probably shouldn't be doing that anymore because people are on to us. Oh, you mean going in the middle of the ocean and killing the whales and the dolphins for windmills? That was a bad idea. That was a bad idea. I'm just making sure we're all on the same page. Wait, what's that? Hantavirus is a known side effect on that long 9 pages of side effects we know about from the COVID vaccine, which wasn't a vaccine. It was an experimental gene scrambler, right? That secret sauce elixir that they were like, hurry, go out and get. Don't you dare take that ivermectin. Horse paste. You're not a horse. And all of us were like, really? Really? We're unwinding that too now, right? Isn't it funny how the ticker tape parade for all of the scary stuff, all of the stuff that you're supposed to all freak out about, make sure you stay home, grab your masks, and hey, I need to vote by mail. It's not working. It's all being unwound. The grift that is education, right? All of that's coming out. All of these people who pushed all this woke mumbo jumbo and failed a generation of children who, by the way, their parents did a whopper of a job screwing that up as well. But we're watching a whole generation of kids graduate who are illiterate. Do you think that you're going to have a business and hire one of these people at your place of work? Of course not. And then it's going to be like, oh, it's discriminatory. No, we're unwinding that. You deserve to get into college if you work hard and can read and write and show up and do the job. Remember how they tried to tell you that showing your work in math was racist? Don't show your work. As long as you get to the right answer, we can forward you ahead. You can pass into the next grade so you're somebody else's mess. What have they done to us in medicine? Do you believe anything that they say? I find it curious that they've been working on some hantavirus vaccine for a while. What? Did you mean they started patenting various elements of the virus itself and creating the master antidote? Shut up. It's almost like you've been through this before, right? And so now they've got this space stuff. We're supposed to be talking about aliens and UFOs and biological material and reverse engineering and propulsion. I care probably not as much about that as I do all of the dead scientists and missing scientists. Like, you know, please don't lie to me anymore and tell me it could just be one really wild tapestry of coincidences. Like we don't trust you anymore. Don't you understand? We don't trust what you say. We don't trust what you do. And though I think the majority of us would be hard pressed to describe who exactly that specter of the deep state is, like, who is it? Who's behind the curtain? Or is it just a menagerie of fools who all have so much crap on each other that they stick together in block to protect their own butts? Like, am I onto something? You feeling me a little bit here? And this is interesting. And here you have President Trump. And we hired him to unwind all of this crazy. We hired him to be the adult in the room, to be the chief executive of this wonderful industry called America. Because the people who came before him, who carved him out of the system and tried to destroy his life, tried to bankrupt him, tried to convince all of us that even though he's married to a supermodel and is one of the richest men in the world, he just had to have sex in a dressing room with a woman who's weirder than the day is long. I mean, what more do you want them to say to us? And then these are the people now who are crying foul that they're racially drawn districts, which were racially drawn when Joe Biden was in office, to give the Democrats an advantage now that the Supreme Court is like, yeah, about that. That's unconstitutional. Knock it the hell off. And so the southern states where that happened are now saying, whoa, tap the brakes on our primaries. We've got to follow the rules of the Supreme Court and redraw the districts, even though the dissenting liberal judges tried to slow walk their dissent to run out the clock. Lo and behold, it's all being unwound. You like where this is going? So do I. And so we were waiting this morning for these UFO files or what have you to drop. And I don't think anybody out there was like, ooh, this is going to be the end all be all. This is going to show me the big headed with the big eyes and the little itty bitty nose holes and the slit for the mouth. I'm going to see aliens. Like, no, I never thought that. I know what they were going to show us. They're going to show us a bunch of things zooming across really grainy skies and be like, ooh, look at that. And look at what it does. It goes up and it loops. And isn't that odd? We don't know what that is. I don't believe that for a hot second. I don't believe Donald Trump necessarily is plugged into what's been going on behind the scenes there. But I do believe there is a very dark, deep, and covert enterprise. And it's run by a lot of people right now who are scared to death because the truth is all coming out. Their corruption is being exposed. That protection they thought insulated them is not there anymore. It's being chiseled away. And people like Nicolas Maduro, who this administration went and captured, not because he's a lousy president, but because he has the details about how Dominion voting systems helped to steal the 2020 election and was in position to do it again. Do you think maybe it's time for all of this to come out? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I voted for that. Think about that, the unwinding. And so as we talk about today's program, and we're going to think about a bunch of different things, we're going to go to Tennessee coming up out of the next break or in the next half hour. It's important for you to see how Democrats behave when the system of cheat and fraud and deception is turned upside down and reversed on them and cleaned up. They don't like being exposed for being an awful lot of diversity hires who have no talent in this iteration of government. It's time to clean house. Black, white, gay, straight, short, fat, I don't care. If you're a bad person and you've been screwing with America, your time to go is now. And this is what is happening. I like Fridays. How about you guys? Right? When we go back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's go there. It sounds totally implausible. But as we're looking at Iran, are they going to come to a deal? Yada, yada. The president of the country said something so ridiculous yesterday, which leads me to believe, no, I'm not so sure there's going to be peace anytime soon. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So, right, I just say that, and President Trump is supposed to address mothers and Mother's Day from the Rose Garden, which is lovely. And I'm sure he'll come out and be like, well, we got to deal with Iran. And I'll be like, ugh, I just said you didn't. Ghost bed. I want to tell you guys about my ghost bed. Lying down on something where you don't have a dip, where your hips don't dip. If you're a side sleeper like I often am, or like an arm under and like a sprawler with the one leg, like you're flying in a weird way. Your belly will bow and you'll get a really bad crick in your back. This is one of the things I noticed out of the gates with my new ghost bed. So we got a hybrid full-size ghost bed, and it comes in a box and it's vacuum sealed like in a tube, and you open up the plastic and it comes to life and opens up, and you're supposed to give it about 48 hours to fully form its shape. And when it fully takes all of its shape, you can then put on your mattress protector and all of that jazz, lie down on it. And oh my gosh, first of all, no hot spots, no painful spots, no tossing and turning. Like wherever you land on it, you're like, and that's the story. That's the story. And that was what the owner wanted to do. Made in America, family operation. They've been in business for a while. And he's like, look, I couldn't find something for my back pain and my neck pain. Had multiple surgeries, lots of problems. Hence, Ghost Bed was born. Again, made in the United States, 101 night sleep night trial. That's their pledge to you. You don't like it? We'll take it back. You're going to like it. And check out all their other stuff too, because they have mattresses for campers, for RVs, for pooches, for all sorts of stuff. Cute, cute family, and a great discount, extra 10% off with my name. And this is their Memorial Day sale time. So this is a great time to get rid of your old stinky mattress and get a ghostbed.com/Wendy.
Text you.
It's going to hurt my feelings.
It's going to make you happy.
That's what I just read. That's what I just said. He wasn't listening. This is Virginia you're talking about?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I was
not listening to
paying attention to the side computer because now
you're sketched out. Someone's going to go haywire. I got your back. I have no skills. I couldn't do crap.
Oh, that's what you said. This just came across my.
Mm-hmm. I had seen it before you sent it. How do you like them apples? Also, a new poll out, you guys. I think you're going to find it very interesting. It's I haven't seen them do like a crosstab that's MAGA Republicans, specifically gauging MAGA identifying Republicans. Wild. That says something to me right there. You guys are a force to be reckoned with. They realize who's in charge of the unwind. Definitely. And in a concerned way for the people of Iran, for the people who've been tortured, for the people who've had friends killed, murdered, just for doing what you and I take for granted every single day. I feel for them, but I don't feel as though there is any negotiating with crazy. And the level of crazy at whatever degree of leadership is in charge of that country, I don't really see President Trump walking away from some kind of a negotiation with whomever that person is. That person, whomever that person is, whether it's the Ayatollah's son, whether it's somebody else, they're as almost in the shadows as the figment of the deep state, that unelected bureaucratic bunch that seems to run everything for their benefit and that you and I pay for. It's sort of the same mysterious ilk. Like, who are you? Why are you staying in the shadows? Come forward. Let us see you. So when I read this from Breitbart, Iran's president claims he met with mystery supreme leader. I'm like, oh gosh, this is such propaganda garbage. There's no way, in my estimation, that there's a way to negotiate and save Iran. At least not with this iteration. I want you to hear this. Iran reportedly aired a broadcast on state television. So you know it's propaganda because those are the people who control the media, right? It's the government. In which President Masoud Pezeshkian, it's a lot of vowels there, claimed to have met Supreme Leader Mohammad Khamenei. Multiple news outlets reported on Thursday. So the president of the country says he's meeting with whomever the Supreme Leader's son is, okay? Suggesting that the civilian government head is seeking some support from the theocratic wing of what is left of the regime. So Khamenei was proclaimed the successor to his father, the late dictator, following his death on February 28th as a result of America's Operation Epic Fury. Do you really see, if this guy still is alive, do you really see him coming to the table and putting together some kind of a deal in which President Trump, the mastermind of his father's death, his mother's death, his wife's death, his brother's death, his son's death, and 50 other people, that he's going to be like, well, yeah, I think we should probably just knock it off. Okay, we agree. I don't see it happening, right? The younger Khamenei has not been seen in public since being decreed the next dictator, nor has he broadcast any video or audio messages that would prove that he's alive and capable of running a government. Bing, 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 bing. I don't know. Is this like Darth Vader, who's, a machine, but just a face, right? It kind of feels like that. Iranian state media have published written statements alleged to have come from the guy, but These have been read off of a piece of paper by propagandists on television. So this is where things to me just get super weird, because as a result of the secrecy surrounding the Khamenei son, a variety of rumors have erupted suggesting that he was severely injured in the airstrike that killed his father, or he's otherwise physically unable. We've heard that he lost his stomach, he lost his legs, he's been severely disfigured. But this is where the president comes out. The president of Iran comes out on television that he's just enjoyed an extended visit with the supreme leader. Oh, my. It was lovely. We had such a nice chat. According to the UK Times, Pezeshkian described his purported meeting with Khamenei positively, calling their conversation direct and frank and celebrating the humble atmosphere that he said existed between them. Does anybody else smell total garbage? Where's the CNN producer who's writing this filth? Oh, yeah, we met. I would find it very hard to believe that the son is even alive. And if he is alive, he sure as hell is in no capacity to be talking with the president of the country. What are they trying to do? Create some, I don't know, some vision of a united front? Well, we're going to get the radical cleric side, and then we're going to get the more level-headed business guy president, and we're going to come together, and it's going to be beautiful. Really? Really? So what do you do? If you're President Trump, what do you do? I don't think you're going to get anything out of this deal. And by the way, allowing them to redevelop nuclear warheads after a period of time, doesn't that kind of negate the whole reason why we're here in the first place? I mean, asking for a friend. The only thing that I think this president can do is go back to his Operation Freedom and to go out there and to do his darndest. There are 1,500 ships held captive in the Strait of Hormuz right now. Get them the hell out of there. And if Iran tries to fiddle with you in the water, blow them into the middle of next week. I don't know why we haven't already done that, right? So allegedly, we're supposed to be waiting for a press conference. I'm not going to be taking it live. I'm not thinking it's going to be anything cataclysmic. But he's going to be in the Rose Garden here. In fact, the president should be momentarily, ostensibly to address America's moms. And it's a good look in a good place to do it. But we're also going to keep our eyes on that because it had been hinted that a peace deal might be imminent. I'm not sure what to make of it, ladies and gentlemen. In the same way, I'm not sure what to make of this sudden release of the UFO files, or at least the beginning iteration of it. It's certainly not the whole story. So you have to ask yourself, are we being played? Is it a smokescreen? Is it a slow walk? Is it something to keep us occupied while other stuff is going on behind the scenes? I don't know. But when we come back, we're going to take you to Tennessee. We're going to take you to the state capitol. In Tennessee, where Democrats, black Democrats, who, by the way, all decided to get dressed together, look like they were all going to a funeral or a wedding. I couldn't tell which. More like a funeral after how they behaved, decided to have an insurrection that was so much worse than January 6th. And some state leaders were caught saying some pretty ugly things. That is where we're going to go when we come back here on the Wendy Belt Radio Network. Why do people text me while we're doing this? And why are they always my kids? Like, seriously, right?
Mom, did you order the flowers?
No, I did not order the flowers. Oh, stop freaking out, Ryan. Ryan is, so they had some, at the University of Tennessee yesterday, their grade system, campus-wide, whatever the program is, it has everybody's everything connected, was hacked. And so everything went haywire. Well, some of the professors were like, I don't know if we're going to still have our finals at this date, but literally it's the end of the school year. And a lot of people have flights out tomorrow. Today was the last final or what have you. And then some people's internships start Monday, right? And Ryan had an opportunity to take his final today on schedule or to wait a day. And he has decided that he is going to go take it and get it done. And because I told him, I'm like, what are you going to get better tomorrow that you're not going to get today? You've already done the time. So stop obsessing about it. So I'm saying a prayer. Good Lord, help out Ryan and make him smart. Okay. Go.
For 2 hours.
For 2 hours. and meantime, I'm like, I hear him freaking out. And I'm like, I mean, whatever. They took harder classes in high school than I did in college. So anyway.
Yeah, I bet they did.
I'm like, wow, was that just you being a jerk? Or
no,
what?
I meant probably took harder classes than I took.
When you have AP, I'm like,
yeah,
AP, come on. I was the
You wanna meet-
ultimate average Jane.
You want to see Wendy's mind get blown?
Oh.
I took AP English.
Were you part of? Did you live in Baltimore?
I also took trig, calculus.
Hey, best to
in high school.
Best to you. Calabasas High School, that was not what I was signing up for.
I took advanced biology.
Well, you did also want to go to nursing school.
Well, I did go to nursing school.
I know. And then all he had was like one class left and he quit.
No, I had a semester of clinicals.
Mm-hmm. All right, what else do I want to tell you guys about? Morgain's Fitness, Kelly Morgan, Morgain's Morgain's Fitness, Morgainz. So you could lose, I think she's darling here. I can understand when she's like, you know what, I'm feeling a little bigger than I want to. Well, there she goes. That's 90 days. That's the 90 Ignite. That's what happens. You sign up with Kelly. You can either go in and work out with, there at her gym, or you can do it online and they send you videos of what to do and you do it for 90 days. You watch what you eat and lo and behold, you kind of lose a lot of fat. Look at the before and after there. Look at the top. Look at the before. Like, that's crazy. Come on now. That's not okay. This is a good one. Look at this. This is how I resemble myself after the weekend of drinking beer right here. Look at her. 90 days. 90 days. Look. Oops. Morgain's Fitness, Morgainz fitness.com. You'll see a big tab on the screen. It says 90 Ignite. You're like, I think I need to click on that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Gary and Diane, Ireland. They need some help. I don't know. Michael never got back to me, Brooke. I don't know what to say to them. I'm like, oh, yeah, you want help after you charge me $50,000 for a roof. Ireland Contracting, I want to tell you one more time. I know I don't talk about him commonly, but I talk about him enough. My boyfriend, Dan Ireland. He's the Ireland son, and he is their electrician, and he will come to your house if you live in southwestern Pennsylvania. Go to IrelandContracting.com, and it'll be like, what kind of service do you need? What's your address? What's your phone number? And then you say, Wendy loves Dan. I need Dan. And they'll be like, and they'll get you on his calendar. It'll come out. He's super nice, super easy to deal with, looks at great ways to save you money, has ideas. He's fantastic. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. What? What are you going?
Look what just popped up for me. Ready?
Yeah.
Wendy will be excited about this.
Oh, very nice. Those are delicious. Those are some pretty tasty
There's
beers.
2 different ones.
What's the brand again? Does that have duration? Oh, that's Drecker.
Drecker.
Drecker is fantastic. Oh.
Pineapple white chocolate. Raspberry peach.
That could be interesting.
Blueberry swirl. And raspberry passion fruit. I might need to make a drive today.
Whatever you want, babe.
No. Might need to borrow the company card.
Right. I guess the jobs report is good. Adds 115,000 jobs in April. Unemployment at 4.3%. We've got about 70,000 people who have jobs now in the factory. Oh, look at that. Who have jobs now building factories. 70,000 people now have jobs building factories. 70,000. Watching these men at my house I love watching people who can build. God, it's fascinating. It's kind of hot too, I have to say.
It's covered now. I can come drink.
That's
I'll be over about 7.
Brock's takeaway is
Well, before it wasn't covered, so if it was raining, you guys should have seen it this morning.
What? Oh, we're gonna do jungle. Well, I guess the moral of today's story is that when Democrats don't get their way, they throw a temper tantrum. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, I would have no patience for this. I remember being a babysitter back in Southern California back in the day. I hated it. I was convinced I was never going to be a mom because I couldn't handle other people's kids. I'm like, isn't there an easier way to control these people? A good spanking? People out there are like, oh no, what's she talking? Seriously, if you behave like a jerk, you need to be told right away. These people haven't been told. They've been given carte blanche to act like jerks. I'm talking specifically about this hoo-ha that happened at the Tennessee State Capitol. All right. So Tennessee Democrats standing on desks. There's this large, well-fed woman, right? A black woman, a black representative from Tennessee standing on it. She's wearing a white dress that, by the way, she ought not be wearing. And she's standing on a desk, Brock.
It was a schmedium, if you know what I mean.
She squeezed into a schmedium. She had no business dipping anywhere other than the, well, let's just say Mrs.
Husky section.
And the women's world section. Anyway, she's literally standing on a desk in the Capitol building inside what? Because the Senate had approved the redistricting of their congressional maps. So I want to read, all hell broke loose on Thursday after Tennessee Republicans passed a new congressional map, eliminating the only Democrat district. Why was there this district in the first place? Well, Tennessee's Republican-led House passed the new map that eliminates the state's only majority black district in Memphis. Shortly thereafter, the state Senate passed the congressional map. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, he was right there. He's like, okay, let's go. And it's done. Thank you very much. It's amazing how things can move, right? So this bill now is a law, and the new district is the deal. Tennessee's Republican-led legislature passing this new map, splitting up the state's lone majority black district, swiftly responding to the U.S. Supreme Court's major redistricting ruling last week. The redrawn district lines, which Governor Bill Lee is expected to sign into law. This was before it happened, yada, yada. Put Republicans in position to gain a seat in the fall's midterm. Okay. So that's the story. The new map carves up a Memphis-based seat held by longtime Representative Steve Cohen into 3 different districts. And it spreads the Democratic voters into more rural Republican districts that stretch hundreds of miles east. It also further splits the Nashville metropolitan area, the state's other Democratic stronghold, into 5 districts. The long districts run across Tennessee's distinct geographical regions, and the voters from different media markets and time zones together to achieve the desired partisan impact. Democrat state lawmakers did not take it too well. So the woman who stood up, Charlene Oliver, she stood up on a desk and got into a tug of war with the Senate Sergeant at Arms over her banner that read, "No Jim Crow 2, stop the steal," right? We want to give you a little bit of the sound. Here's the chaos erupting on the floor as the vote is official. It's total chaos. Okay, if you were in that chamber and somebody had a bullhorn and they started doing that, wouldn't you throat punch them and throw them down the stairs? I would have. Everybody just stood back, and it's like, oh my gosh. If January 6th was an insurrection, I can't fathom what one would call that. And then I want you to hear this. This guy, Justin Pearson, he's a Tennessee state representative. He gets in the face. This is the guy who had the Malcolm X transformation. Isn't that right, Brock? Yeah. So he at one point was like a clean, he didn't have the big fro and he didn't dress like Malcolm X nor speak like Malcolm X. All of a sudden he's become, I guess he's really dipped into his heritage and he's completely turned into this wacko. And I guess he might be losing his seat, but I want you to hear what he says. This is a black guy to white Tennessee state troopers. He calls them boy and he calls them stupid MFers. Now, seriously, this guy was elected into a position of power in Tennessee, and he calls the state police boy and MFer. So what? Listen.
Boy! Yeah, let Pearson go. Let Pearson. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Ted. You stupid mother.
There's some people who need to be slapped. There's some people who need to get some manners. And that gentleman is at the top of my list right now. Now, mind you, all of the people who were for the black districts, all of the black representatives there, they're all dressed wearing the same outfit. They all went and got tuxedos as though they're going somewhere fancy, all of the women wearing white. If you have to do something theatrical, right? If you have to create the illusion of something, you're up to no good. And your black district that you drew was no good. And the Supreme Court shut it down. Here's State Representative Justin Johnson. You can't really hear what he's doing, but you can hear the wackadoodles in the rotunda here as this black state representative, okay, burns a miniature Confederate flag. I'm sure this is a fire hazard, but we're just going to let it go and hoot and holler like lunatics. Listen. Right? That's worse than Howard Dean. Whoa! Right? That time that ruined his political career. Remember, it's an insurrection only when Republicans do it, you guys. It's partisan gerrymandering only when Republicans do it. It's norm shattering only when Republicans do it. Is anybody else out there tired of the double standard? Well, it looks like Southern Republicans are going full pro-MAGA for the midterms. They have no interest in becoming the next Indiana, it appears, right? They have no interest at all in what's coming. Next up is Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi. Mississippi is set to redraw its congressional maps. And that means anti-Trump January 6th committee chair hack. What? I was supposed to keep all the videos of our interviews of all the defendants and all of the data. I'm sorry, I got rid of all that. Benny Thompson, he could very well lose his seat. Sounds like the walrus is going to be out, flopping around at sea. The redrawn districts will eliminate the race-based second district that's kept Thompson in power for decades. Think about that. This is the unwinding. This isn't some power grab. This isn't Republicans being like, oh, yeah, we're going to take our seats back. This is like, hey, the Supreme Court said it, and you did this based on unconstitutional and racially motivated ways. So we're going to fix this. Mississippi doing that. Meantime, there's Louisiana. Oh, Bill Cassidy. Oh, Bill. Bill Cassidy's a little sweaty right now because he is being primaried and he is about to lose his job. Did you hear about this one? Bill Cassidy, one of the hack Republicans who voted to impeach President Trump after January 6th, who has a 55% F Liberty score and is, let's just say, a jerk. He's polling behind Julia Letlow, who's got 33% of the vote right now with a plus 12 over the incumbent. Sucks to be you, Rhino Senator Bill Cassidy. We'll see how long you stay up there for afloat. South Carolina is pausing its primaries so new maps can be drawn. And you know what that means? That means that James Clyburn is going to be out of the House. Aw.
Big story is that Cassidy is one of Thune's boys.
Oh.
He's on the inner circle with Thune. So,
oh, wow, that's not surprising at all. And so what's Georgia going to do next? Remember, a federal judge ruled in October of 2023 that Georgia's 14-district congressional map violated the Voting Rights Act by diluting Black voting power. So they ordered the legislature to get their magic wand and poof, add at least one new majority Black or Black opportunity district. Now that's going to go away. That's not how it works. And you don't get away with it just because you're a Democrat or just because you're Black. And you want everybody to believe that somehow you in 2026 are a victim of something. It pisses me off, and everybody knows the truth. You know, what made me wonder this morning, if Bill Cassidy could be pounded by a MAGA and Donald Trump supported challenger, which is going to happen. She's going to flip that seat. At least get in the race for it. Whatever happened to all the Republicans in the House of Representatives who voted to impeach Donald Trump after January 6th? Because I remember these people. Well, the 10 House Republicans, only one remains, right? Who lost their primaries? Liz Cheney, she got her butt handed to her. That was Harriet Hageman. Jaime Herrera Beutler, she lost hers. Peter Meyer, he lost his in Michigan. Tom Rice got pounded by a Trump supporter, a Trump endorsed challenger. How about the Adam Kinzinger, Fred Upton, Anthony Gonzalez, John Katko, Dan Newhouse? They all decided to retire after they voted to impeach President Trump. Maybe they saw what was coming. The only guy who's still standing is David Valadao. He is from California. And the only reason he's unopposed, essentially. There's nobody who's going to primary this Republican. The one lone remaining congressman who voted for the impeachment of President Trump. How about the senators? Because there were 7 senators, Republican senators, who voted to impeach President Trump. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, they still suck. They're still there. Mitt Romney, his term ends in 28. Hopefully he'll walk along Mormon Road away. Bill Cassidy looks like his butt's going to get handed to him. That's good. And no longer in office, Richard Burr, Ben Sass, who looks like, I hate to see people suffer. He's got terrible cancer. He's not long for this world, sadly. And Pat Toomey, who was a hack to begin with. And they're all gone. You go against this president and MAGA fires you. It's not President Trump firing you. This isn't his call. This is the people's call. This is MAGA America. And Democrats are starting to wake up to that fact. And I'm so freaking delighted to be able to report that to you. Check, please. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. It's almost like I had something to say there, right? People in blue states, they are not buying what the progressives are selling. There's a dollar amount now to how much wealth has left blue states in favor of red states over the past decade. Oh my gosh. Wait for it. Next. I started going faster. I was like, okay, now I'm better. How's everybody?
I thought Romney was already gone.
No.
Mitt.
I think he's 2028. I think he's still there.
I thought he left.
I think he's still there. Did he leave? That's AI. That's me not thinking critically about AI there when that came out. So if he left.
No, he is no longer a U.S. Senator. He retired from the Senate when his term expired on January 3rd, 2025.
Okay. So he's out. Thank you. So that's the whole burning it all down. I think that's where I was going with the theme today. It's like they're just unwinding all of it. All right, let's see. The Simkovich Concussion Institute. I read to you that beautiful testimonial yesterday. When our friend Brox and my friend Diane went to be treated at the Simkovich Concussion Institute for what was really kind of a shot in the dark. Would he be able to, using the strategies and the techniques that he used in people's soft palate to fix traumatic brain injury, to heal concussions, to get people back in charge after a brain injury? When our friend Diane went and was like, I don't know if he's going to be able to help me or not. And Doc didn't know either. And then she enjoyed like a 75% improvement of her shaking, which is like, pew. She said that the waiting room was always packed. Was always packed. So for every testimonial I get, there's got to be 10 or 20 more out there who don't write us and who go and experience the life-changing assistance of the Simkovich Concussion Institute. It's worth traveling to. It's in Pittsburgh. It's here where we are. It is 100% worth traveling to, and it's worth phoning 412-366-3700 to find out what your options could be. Get the conversation started. Sometimes that's the hardest part. And you might just be amazed. You might just be the next success story. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com, 412-366-3700. Well, you know what? That's interesting. The perplexity that I asked that question of also said, of the 10 Republicans in the House who voted to impeach President Trump, none of them was still in office. And I was like, I think David Valadao still is. And so I then put in, well, what about Dave? Is he still? And it's like, yes, he is. And I'm like, well, then you just gave me an answer that you just corrected. So are you going to fix? Brock, does that make any sense to you? He wasn't listening to me.
I was not paying attention. At least I'll be honest.
Ryan comes home on Wednesday.
Why should that make me excited?
I'm not saying it makes me excited.
Oh.
I wouldn't imagine it would make you excited. It doesn't really impact you.
Is he doing an internship or more classes?
He is shadowing a dentist in our community who's just lovely. And he is working at camp all summer with the twins.
I should ask him to bring me something home. I need an orange visor.
I need.
Yeah.
Brock needs.
Just saying. The gray one you got me is super comfortable.
Yeah, I don't know which one that is. You'd have to take a picture of it and send it to Ryan and see if he could swing by. I'm sure he can. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. It's Friday. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to begin this segment with a little bit of a correction. In the commercial break, Brock, he came in with a correction about Mitt Romney. So Mitt Romney is walking the Mormon Trail home. He already did.
He already has.
He already did, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes I need to double check my AI search engine. So Mitt Romney is no longer obviously there in Utah. Okay. Or he is in Utah, but he's just not in the Senate. All right. So let's talk about this, because this is one of those damning things. There's really nothing that is going well for the Democratic Party right now. They're not raising money. People aren't like, I can't wait to give to those fabulous idea makers, the Democrats. They're just fabulous. Nobody's doing that. USAID has been shut down. Act Blue, everybody knows what that is. All of the Smurfs that they've been using and stealing their identity to filter through overseas dark money donations, because that's been busted too. They have nothing, right? And now people are fleeing once really special places. Like New York City is a fabulous city. Everything in Los Angeles. I love Los Angeles. I love California. Who wants to live there? How about this headline from the New York Post this morning? It's just staggering. Blue states have bled $2 trillion. $2 trillion in wealth to red states in the last decade. And New York, of course, leading the pack I mean, like, wow, I need to go get my crystal ball out and see if I could have looked in and seen this happening, right? Zoran Mamdani. We're going to give you everything for free. Woo! Tax the rich. Bye-bye. Huh. It's been called the biggest wealth transfer in American history. Nearly $2 trillion in economic growth has left blue states and is headed for red states in the last decade, according to economic data from the Committee to Unleash Prosperity, which is a conservative economic group. The group used IRS data from the years 2012 to 2023. This isn't even including Zoran, right? To calculate the movement in cumulative income between states, which were classified as red Trump states or blue Harris states, based on which way they voted in the 2024 presidential election. The $2 trillion transfer is larger than the GDP of some countries. That's how big. New York had the biggest fall in cumulative adjusted gross income, losing $660 billion between 2012 and 2023. That's nutty. California came in next with $503 billion in the same period. In contrast, Florida gained $1.3 trillion and Texas gained $371 billion during that same time period, 2012 to 2023. This comes as billionaire bigwigs are bailing the Big Apple. The exodus is on as a result of Mayor Zoran Mamdani's wealth bashing agenda. Hedge fund stars and titans Ken Griffin, and Mark Rowan both said, you heard this, that they're going to be moving their jobs out of New York in response to this tax the rich addiction. You can only go into that well so many times before the bucket stops coming up at all, because it's, all the water's gone and everybody's bailed. Other traditionally deep blue states to see a heavy net loss of money include Illinois. Oh my gosh, shocker. Why not? What? I hear Chicago's fabulous this time of year. $399 billion left there. New Jersey lost $212 billion. Maryland lost $120 billion. And Massachusetts, $118 billion. So what are you going to have? I mean, if Hank Johnson was going to come out of the woodwork, he would tell us Florida's about to do what again now, Brock? What's going to happen in Florida? With everybody moving there, it's going to capsize. He's like, what? We can't put all of these military people on Guam. It's going to capsize. Oh, boy. But look at this. You're going to have a very scarcely populated blue state nexus in certain areas. And you're going to have major swaths of the country where the sun is warmer. The women are kinder. The men are stronger, right? Less effeminate. They haven't been beaten down by toxic femininity. And by the way, a lot of these places don't have income tax. I don't know. Where would you like to live? New York City, where you could pay for all of the migrants and all of the hassles and the nightmare? Or I'm Smoky Mountains. Smoky Mountains sound pretty good to me right about now. Tennessee, good old Rocket Top. All right, when we come back, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program. So this is one of these interesting wake-ups where some young people from Generation Z are realizing that the antidepressants that they were prescribed when they were little munchers because, kids have ants in their pants, have made them zombies, drug-addicted zombies. And when they try to get off the drugs, it's gnarly. Doug Emhoff's daughter, Ella, is speaking out about it. Say what? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I see it. And you know who lost too? Pennsylvania lost. Then there were some other red state winners at the expense of blue states are South Carolina. They had $187 billion move in there over that decade. Tennessee gained $112 billion. Idaho, pretty hot with the crowd that doesn't want to be sweltering where everybody else is and wants to go enjoy the mountains and the open lands. $72 billion.
You know the kicker? Well, I heard Morton Salt is leaving Illinois.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a big one. Morton Salt.
And just think about this.
How old is that business?
Going back to the Virginia.
Yeah.
How much did the Democrats go in the hole to spend to
They had to take out
alone?
15 million. I don't know, guys. That's just not really good business.
I mean, who would have thought breaking the law to pass a law
Doesn't
wouldn't
work
stand?
out. Becky writes, hey, Wendy, I've lost another 15 pounds. I'm nearly in panic mode because I've just run out of my drink mix. Waiting can last forever when you're waiting for your next reorder of Dr. Gundry's. Well, he's like, look, she said this will work. Keeping up your workouts and staying away from carbs and drinking Dr. Gundry's. I've lost 46 pounds and I'm ready to win this race. She's trying to lose 100 pounds. This is what she says is doing it. 2.5 months of drinking Dr. Gundry's healthy fat drink mix. I've lost another 15 pounds, she says. How about this? I've been losing about a pound a week on average, Becky says. Been drinking them 2 10-ounce glasses a day. Love the taste of the drink mix. So good over ice. It curbs the appetite, and along with my workout, so far, so good. This works. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. It's a dietary supplement that Dr. Gundry used to lose 70 pounds. 70 pounds. And it's simple. Like, you're already drinking water. Why wouldn't you just get this and take it and take? You do like it, right? It grows on you. I've always liked it. But you put a scoop of that in water. Becky's doing it twice a day. And it's helping her with her hunger and her cravings, the food noise. It also is big into the production of ketones for more energy, and also MCT and polyphenols to support brain health. This is Dr. Gundry's jam, and he says he's seen thousands of people lose significant weight, 40, 50, 70, 80, 100 pounds. Seriously, The Healthy Fat. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. That's their secret sauce. How are you guys? What's going on? Have you rewarding me for my splendor?
Someone asked about Chuck Juice. Chuck Juice is on hold, we found out.
Yeah, we asked our gal because he died. And I was like, well, that's kind of a crappy.
Death doesn't stop Chuck.
No, thank you, Brock. Very well said.
I mean, that's just
that's true.
Hiccup.
That's true. Well, and according to Glenn Beck.
Did you listen to it?
Time travel is coming out as a real thing now. Get out of town.
That science is actually saying yes, it could happen, but not in the sense that he was saying. Not in the sense that you can go like 5 years in the future and come back. But like, there's a little twist. I thought it was interesting.
Like a way that we can connect with those that we're connected with.
But not be able to say to them, this
like,
is going to happen.
Don't take that road.
Yeah.
You're going to crash. But like giving somebody a hint so that they choose a different direction. I don't know. I don't know what to believe. I don't know. How much of what we're seeing is a simulation? Have I seen this before? What's deja vu, right?
Well,
we've done this already.
Not just that. Like, we only know the math that's already out there.
That's true.
It's to say, like, there's no math that extends past that we just haven't figured out yet. But Tesla talked about time travel 80, 100 years ago. So
Show did.
He talked about free energy. Just because we don't know it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Facts.
We just haven't figured it out yet.
Hey, guys, I want to tell you quickly, we're about to start some really great commercials all across our radio platform, and it's for Health Revolution. And I'm super excited to be able to tell you about this partnership we have with Health Revolution. They're our first sponsor, sponsoring our podcast, our radio commercials, and this program here that we do on Rumble. And this is a huge deal because you guys have made it possible. You guys have taken up this charge. So I want you to go to info.healthrevolution.net. Look, your Affordable Care Act stuff, it doesn't suit you. It doesn't meet your needs. You're not in charge of it. The government tells you what you need. This is something totally different. This is your own private health insurance that you create sort of a la carte, and it saves you 30 to 60%. If you're relatively healthy, you're under the age of 65. If you're self-employed, if you're on COBRA, if you're just tired of insurance that doesn't work, or you're not covered at all, go to info.healthrevolution.net. Brock maybe can put up the thing. 800-868-6187. 800-868-6187. Jot this down. Go. There's no open enrollment period. You do it anytime. No copays. The deductible is reasonable. You get to keep and choose your doctor. This is your time to get the insurance that suits you. Don't get maternity when you're a dude. You don't need it, right? 800-868-6187. info.healthrevolution.net.
Maybe once they figure that out, they could do that with my cable. That I don't have to get the
Why do I
Hallmark
have to
channel.
have 7,000 channels, of which 6,900 suck? And of the remaining 100, I listen to 8. Or I watch 8. Do I have to pay for them all? No. Hi, Cousin Allison.
Cousin Allison's in his house.
Cousin Allison is texting me.
During the show, Cousin Allison, weren't you aware that Ryan just got yelled at for texting during the show? Cousin Allison, do better.
So we're going to do something that I've really not done before. And oh, okay. Well, we're going to do it in the next half hour.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. I think as a mom, I have kind of an interesting perspective on the arrival of the cell phone during the course of me being a parent and having kids. My 2 older boys were born and pretty much started going through elementary school well before the whole cell phone thing really took off. And my youngest 2, youngest 3 probably, came up of almost a different, even though it was a couple years apart, it was a completely different thing. Because the ubiquitousness of cell phones and technology and what was such that they were being raised in a different way. You can see it almost in the 5 boys. Like the older 2 have one memory of being raised, and the younger 3, though they didn't have cell phones earlier in their life than the older boys, it was just much more pervasive. It was much more of a thing. You would go through the grocery store and wouldn't be uncommon to see a 2-year-old sitting quietly in the buggy with a cell phone, right? Like we never did that, didn't give our kids phones as distractions or as babysitters, right? And I think that and the overprescription of these antidepressants have really made almost a catatonic slice of probably Generation Z, I would say. Right? I would say Generation Z. So this youngest group of people coming up through the ranks. Well, at least the voting age group, right? And there's this article in the New York Post today about Generation Z on these SSRIs, these antidepressants, that have taken them for years, who are now starting to pay attention to some of the stuff that RFK Jr. has been talking about regarding the risks of long-term medication. You know, it's funny, we didn't have depression. I mean, I'm sure people had bouts of it when we were growing up. I grew up in the 70s. I don't remember anybody being on anything. I don't remember allergies. I don't remember autism. I remember feeling like I could jump out of my skin sitting in a pew at church because I wanted to I couldn't sit still. We had ants in our pants. We all had that. I mean, everybody has ADHD when they're little. Nobody wants to sit in a classroom or a church pew and be talked to. We want to be outside. I want to be splashing through a stream or catching frogs or eating wild raspberries. I don't want to be sitting there in school. Then all of a sudden, it was like this weird generation of parenting where it's like, well, we should probably medicate them. And so they did. And now there's this breakout of young people. And one of them, it certainly wasn't on my card today, but is the daughter of Kamala Harris's husband, right? Ella Emhoff. Ella. And she put out a video. I'm going to have Brock play it for you here in just a minute, where it's kind of interesting. You know, I don't know her. I have not paid attention to her. I look at her as another one of the weirdo progressives with wild, kind of weirdo tattoos and strange style and just kind of peculiar, which is probably unfair, but it's all I've got. And she's just like, what are we doing? I've tried to get off of these pills and I can't. We've created this generation of addicts for big pharma. And anybody who says otherwise is full of it. And it's got to be unwound. It has to be unwound. Here's the story. Generation Z finally waking up and realizing that they were mass prescribed antidepressants without much consideration for the long-term side effects, right? This is what freaked us out about the vaccine, the COVID jab. This is what freaks us out about some of these weight loss medications, Mounjaro, all of the, Ozempic, Wegovy. Nobody knows what they do long-term. But we're going to just all jump on it because we don't want to, subscribe to having a setup and a salad instead of just immediate overnight success. That's where we are. So among these Gen Zers waking up is Ella Emhoff. This is the 26-year-old stepdaughter of Kamala Harris, who recently took to TikTok to express concern that she's having difficulty coming off these SSRIs herself. And you're going to hear her. She was around 11 years old. Based on what she's saying, because she's like, it's been 10, maybe as long as 15 years that I've been on these things, that I started taking these drugs, which are prescribed to treat depression and anxiety. What in the hell does an 11-year-old have to be stressed out about? What are you anxious about? If you're 11 years old, you're in the 5th or the 6th grade. Do you know what your job is? Your job is to go out at recess and to play until you're sweaty. It's to run around the neighborhood like a crazy person so that by the time you hit the front step at supper time, you just have to go in and wash up and eat dinner and then zonk out because you're so freaking tired. We drank out of hoses. We were latchkey kids. We were part of the generation that had the guillotine paper cutter in the back of class, right? We didn't worry about, make sure you put some plastic thing on this, outlet so nobody decides to put a knife in it. And has anybody really ever done that? Or have we bubble wrapped this generation to such a degree and created these zombies because parents didn't know how to be parents? I have a friend who literally puts her child, who's extraordinarily interesting, if he's off of his medication. She puts him on these drugs so he's catatonic. Why? Because he's easier for her to manage. That's abject failure. That's parenting failure. We have failed a generation of children. A lot of us have, right? And we've rewarded what? Big pharma. So when the Hantavirus stuff comes out on this cruise ship, oh my gosh, 3 people are dead. Ah! Panic. When can you get your vaccine, right? No. Under no circumstances. No. And the majority of us who pushed back against this during COVID, what did they do? You're anti-vaxxer. You're anti-science. You're probably a flat earther. Right? Well, we got questions about that. I want you to hear Ella Emhoff, though. It's almost painful. I almost wish I could kind of reach through and give her a hug if she wasn't such a weirdo. But I want you to hear what she says. I am part of this SSRI antidepressant generation. What are we doing?
I'm just sitting here crocheting, waiting for a friend. And I was just listening to this podcast that the Wall Street Journal put out about SSRIs and anti-anxiety meds and kind of the overprescription of them in America. And it was making me think a lot because I've been on SSRIs for over a decade, almost 15 years probably.
There's something wrong with the audio there, and I think we'll all just go a little nutty if we continue. I'm going to read you what she says. She says, I've been on SSRIs for over a decade, almost 15 years probably. And now researchers are calling out the lack of research on long-term use of these things, she says to her 60,000 plus followers. So that means she was about 11 years old when she started taking the drugs. Where are your parents? Where's Doug? Doug, what do you think? I bet you it's not Doug. It's whomever his ex is, right? Where's the conversation? I mean, it's easy to armchair quarterback now, but why is an 11-year-old being treated for anxiety? Why is that? A full 16.5% of Americans aged 18 to 24, more than 5 million young people right now, are taking these antidepressants, according to a 2025 survey published in the British medical journal Mental Health. All right. Another study from the American Academy of Pediatrics, another organization that I don't trust, because these are the idiots who are like, get your kids vaccinated against COVID. Oh, by the way, and while you're at it, have them vaccinated for all this other stuff that we don't know the long-term effects of, right? The American Academy of Pediatrics found the rate of prescriptions dispensed for 12 to 25-year-olds surged by 2/3 from 2016 to 2022. It's a sign that young people of all political persuasions are beginning to question, after Ella did, whether being on psychiatric drugs for more than half of their lives was actually a good choice, or a way of treating the symptom and not the cause of youth malaise. Well, you know what? It's wild when you put your phone down and you stop comparing yourself to everybody out there, none of whom takes a video of themselves after they wake up and have bedhead and aren't wearing makeup and look like death warmed over. If we stop comparing ourselves to ridiculous, unachievable standards, which, by the way, don't look good on anybody anyhow, maybe, just maybe, we'll get kids able to talk to one another again. Maybe we'll have boys and girls starting to communicate face to face again. Because if we can't get that to happen, we got a major problem in this country. We're going to have already a major birth rate problem in this country. You factor in the number of people we lost because of COVID. And then what we don't know, how many young people are going to have their fertility impacted by those shots. Damn them. Those stupid shots, right? If we can't get our kids talking to each other once again, Houston, there's a China-sized problem brewing on America's shores right now. It's wild that it took Ella Emhoff to talk about it to be like, yeah, we need to talk about this. It's not political, but we don't need to be rewarding big pharma for keeping us addicted. But that is it. There is no money if you are not sick, right? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, I just thought that was one of those wild things. What does the government know about aliens? They dropped the file, at least the first part of it. We're going to tell you what it says, what it shows, and what it doesn't next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So, I mean, yeah, like, it's easier to brainwash a young generation of clone troopers when you control their diagnoses and their meds.
Well,
It's
think
like,
about it this way too.
It's like psychiatric hospital. It's one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
It's the logical progression. If I make you catatonic now and you don't learn how to lose, win, or deal with adversity, what are you going to do when you're 23?
You're going to go, or when you're 50 wearing a schmedium. You're going to go stand up on a desk.
Right. You're never going to learn how to deal.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a disappointment in my life. I've learned how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Shit doesn't go my way sometimes.
No. Never my way.
Oh, God. Here we go.
What?
Does anybody have a victim card that they can drop here for Brock? Poor Brock. So misunderstood. Things never go your way? Is that really what you just said?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Noted. Let's talk about Healthy Cell. I'm going to read you a testimonial. You ready? Actually, I'm going to read you a couple. Laura from Hastings, Michigan. These are all of our sponsors that she's used. She says, I'm a 68-year-old Christian woman, mother of 3, grandmother of 9, plus 2 step-grands, retired, living a good life with my husband of 49 years. Always have been very conservative. And I love your heart, your honesty, and your humor. I'm fabulous. Anyway, she says, Healthy Cell REM sleep. She's like, this REM sleep. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. That's not the one I wanted to read. Hold on. She says, after 55, your body sleep chemistry changes. And she's like, mine did. I absolutely struggled with it. 100% struggled with it. Started taking REM sleep. And it's better than anything I've taken in the past. This is not Laura's testimonial. This is Daniel's. The REM sleep for about a month now. I sleep better since taking it. I sleep all night. I wake up refreshed and ready for the day. That's it. You go to bed, you fall asleep, you stay asleep, you wake up, and you don't feel like you got hit by a truck. REM sleep. And then how about this one? I ordered the joint health and mobility formula from Healthy Cell. I got some great relief, and I've enjoyed it, and I'm now reordering it. Thank you very much. The joint formula, every single one of the ingredients in the joint formula equals 12 pills I would normally be taking. That's healthycell.com. Take all of these things that you used to be taking and put it in one little gel pack. That's what it is, a micro gel. You peel this off. This is the Immune Super Boost formula, right? There's a formula for everything that you want to accomplish. You want a little bubble of protection around yourself during cold and flu season ever? This is it. You want the joint health and mobility, healthycell.com/Wendy.
Armory 61. I mean, he has to have worked with Wendy for all these years. Could be considered not going his way.
How you doing? See?
No, he's saying working with you.
No, working with me is having everything go your way.
No, that's not what was
We need
implied.
2,000 rumbles. Well, that's fine. You guys can commiserate all you want about how bad life is for you.
You
Whatevs. Huh?
You know who that is.
I didn't hear who you said it. Who?
Armory is 61.
I don't know.
Okay.
128 comments. That's terrible. All right, here we go. Let's do this.
Here we go.
Oh, fudgesicles. Well, there's 3 of these audio sound bites. A potential 4th if we can squeeze it in. But Brock did a great job. He cut up this Peter Ducey sound. He's standing outside of the White House this morning. And Fox News breaks into him. They're like, all right, the UFO files just dropped. There's this brand new website. You can go to it. Peter Ducey's outside. Peter, tell us what these videos are all about. And then he shows you them and walks through them with you. Here you go. Here's audio soundbite number 1.
A White House official left this hard drive on my desk overnight. You can see on it, it says AARO files copy 2 of 3. That is the all domain resolution office copy 2 of 3. This is the first big batch of UFO disclosure ordered by President Trump. Some of the clips and videos on there have popped up different places before. Some of them have not. And we have been going through this all morning and overnight to try to put together some of the best videos so we can all look at this together. This is a world exclusive right here. So let's go to the first clip over the skies of the United Arab Emirates in June 2024. An inverted teardrop with a vertically linear trailing mass, as described by the War Department, suspended below. The War Department cannot say for sure what this is. It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. The next video, over the skies of Iraq, December 2022, moving bottom left to top right of the field of view. All CENTCOM gets from this is an area of contrast. That's what they describe it as. It is officially still listed as an unresolved UAP report. Next video, over the skies of Greece, October 2023, what is described as a small and circular UAP flying near the surface of the ocean towards land. CENTCOM can't tell us what it is. It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. Within the last 2 minutes, all of these videos have gone live on war.gov/UFO, and a White House official tells Fox First, while past administrations sought to discredit or dissuade the American people, President Trump is focused on providing maximum transparency to the public, who can ultimately make up their own minds about the information contained in these files.
And then in the next clip, Peter continues. He's like, look, there's so much stuff going back decades to drop. They're going to do this in these little bursts, these drops of tranches of data.
And there's also a fresh look at some historical records. There's this from Apollo 17 included in this big document dump. One of the astronauts says, we've got a few very bright particles or fragments or something that go drifting by as we maneuver. The control center says, Roger, understood. Another astronaut says, there's a whole bunch of big ones on my window down there, just bright. It looks like the 4th of July out of Ron's window. Another astronaut says, yes, now you can see some of them in shape. They're very jagged, angular fragments that are tumbling. This exchange has long been dismissed as floating insulation. But now the White House is saying, while this photo has been previously released and discussed by keen observers, there is no consensus about the nature of the anomaly. And this all started, of course, because we asked the president about it in February.
Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know,
So aliens are real.
well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. Well, he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it.
So the government is trying to answer the question, do aliens exist? And the answer is, they don't know, but in an effort of transparency, they are giving us all of the material that they are working with as they try to answer that question.
And finally, what about biological material? Did you get any aliens? Are there any aliens, any spacecraft on these documents? Here you go.
People want to know is what the government has collected from belief that these things crashed. There was crash retrieval and that we have some sort of evidence. Is there anything in this batch of released files that would answer that question?
There's nothing in this batch, but we've been told that this is about to become a regular thing because there are hundreds of documents and dozens of pieces of media, videos and photos that are contained on this drive that has just been uploaded to the new website, which is war.gov/UFO. There is nothing like that in this batch, but they are going through and they are working to declassify whatever they can because President Trump told them to. And this is different than when he ordered the Kennedy files to be unclassified and just put everything out all at once. It was millions of pages, a huge file. This is going to come out bit by bit as they work through. And you look, we've got some stuff from Apollo 17. We've got some stuff from a couple months ago. There's a ton of material, but they want us to know that they are trying to figure this out. They just don't have an answer about whether or not, about what these crafts are.
So what is it? What do you believe? What if this alien talk is exactly what the father of modern rocketry warned us about 50 years ago? And he said to his closest associate, his name is Werner von Braun, said his closest associate, a woman named Dr. Carol Rosen, don't fall for it. It's all a lie. 50 years ago, he was warning that aliens would be something the government would use on us. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Maybe not the government, but some other entity. It's hard to know. All right, so this is what I wanted to read to you. This is from Laura from Hastings, Michigan. This product, bloodflow7.com, has been a great benefit to me, and now I have medical proof. About 1.5 years ago, I experienced a reduction in my field of vision in my left eye. I have no family history of eye vision issues, no macular degeneration, etc. And my eye care professional, who's a medical doctor, sent me to a specialist. After MRIs, brain scans, CAT scans, blood tests, sleep studies, countless appointments, It was determined without any granular proof that I had a stroke in my eye, probably due to a lack of blood flow, likely due to my age and lifetime cholesterol problems. Subsequent examinations showed I'd stabilized, no further loss of light sensitivity. I've been on Blood Flow 7 about 6 months. Yesterday, my doctor said my light sensitivity is improved, revealed through a field of vision test, and I know it myself because I could see more light dots than I ever had. She said, I sleep better now, deeper. I fall asleep more quickly, right? And I have plenty of energy. And now my husband is taking it. She believes that this helped get her some vision back in her eye, which is wild. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Look, I notice the difference in just my daily life, how I feel strength-wise, how I feel clarity-wise, how I don't hit the wall in the afternoon. There's no more yawning, looking at the clock and being like, oh my gosh, I wish I could just go fall asleep. You're up and alert all day long. And when it's time for you to then turn it off and go to bed, you sleep like a boulder. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. I'm just going to say that's what it is. That's what it is. Bloodflow7.com. It's 30% off. Everything there in their stores, 30% off. I love it. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Gosh, I'm 2 for 2 or 1 for 2 on those today. This is one of those interesting stories. And I don't know how I'm necessarily going to tell it to you, but I stumbled upon this because maybe what I'll do is I'll play the Tim Burchett sound I was going to cancel with Joe Rogan, because it was somebody's comment to that linked to this article that I want to read you right now, and then links to video talking about this gentleman who's really the guy who invented modern rockets, Werner von Braun. And he's basically in the throes of cancer. He's dying. And he has this woman who he trusts very much, an associate named Dr. Carol Rosen. And he tells her, basically spills the beans. He's like, look, I want to tell you something, because there's a series of lies that are going to be told to the American people to create basically, I don't know, this idea of normalizing defense, weapons in space. Weapons in space. It sounds ridiculous.
Is anything crazy anymore, though?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know if you could surprise me anymore.
I think it would be tough. It would be tough. I agree. But this guy, these are the stories that I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick the landing on this, because I'm a neophyte to this gentleman. But this guy, Werner von Braun, in 1977, warned his closest associate about the last card that would be played to maintain control over the people and force the use of fossil fuel, which is a monster source of their wealth. Doesn't it all kind of feel like it goes back to, they don't want you getting off of fossil fuels because there's so many billionaires because of that.
Well, let's be real. What does everything come down to?
Money.
Control. No, even more than money. Because you can't control things with just money. They want control. And once they can get control, they need to keep control. And you can go as far down as politicians to stay out of trouble. They can manipulate the markets. They can, which gets them more money. Like, we're all slaves. We're all slaves. Unless you are making the decision, you are a slave to keep the funding going.
Slave to the man.
Yeah. We're all slaves to the man.
And all these ancillary bickering things that we're talking about with race and gender, and all of this is just little noise. They want us doing this so they can continue doing whatever the bejeebers they're doing.
She's a slave to the man. I'm a slave to her. You know, just to trickle down to how far up you are the slave. That slave pays more taxes than me. But I'm being held down.
AP English, huh?
I'm being held down. Pays more taxes than I.
Then if you know it, then why didn't you do it? Why? Why? It should be like in your head, and you should be like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. Malfunction, sort of like Mitt Romney is still in the Senate. How that should be like, you should have malfunction.
Okay. It's Friday. I'll keep my mouth shut. I don't want to get fired.
Mm-hmm. Right. I guess I'll just take over the pet show with Dr. Mike. We'll
You'll be busy.
Add some pizzazz to it.
Well, I don't do anything. I just ask him the questions.
Very popular. If you're not familiar with it, follow us. Hit the follow button because it's tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And Brock with world-renowned veterinarian Dr. Mike Hutchinson, the best veterinary advice on the planet. Do you ever wonder how much we've been played? Like, as much as you think you know, which is an infinitesimal amount, I mean, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm pretty advanced and I know nothing. I feel like I've got an edge over most people, and yet I'm in my infancy of understanding. And it's humbling. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I just like to say what I think a lot of people think. I think we were onto a lot of stuff. As I said, COVID, I woke up during that. On Palm Sunday, I woke up. And things have been kind of coming into position, but I'm still on the board of all of the puzzle pieces. I'm not even sure I've got the frame. I don't even think I have the outline all put together yet. And it is humbling. And sometimes it's infuriating to think about how much you've been manipulated, because we've been manipulated a lot. I want to read you this article. It was written in 2023 by a gentleman named James Moore. I know nothing about him and I don't care about him, but he writes this from TexasSouthLawWriters.com. And he's talking about the last card. And I want to read this to you because former NASA rocket scientist Wernher von Braun, this guy is considered the father of modern rocketry, if you will. He warned his closest associate, a woman named Dr. Carol Rosin, about what he called the last card. The last card that would be played to maintain control over the people. Now, why Wernher von Braun and his work with rocketry would give us this knowledge 50 years ago that there is sort of like this deep state plot. He doesn't necessarily call it that, but it's sort of like the people behind the curtain. They will play a final card. And once this happens, you need to be aware. I want to read you this. When the U.S. military began shooting down Chinese weather balloons and other UFOs over North America, I was reminded of a woman named Carol Rosin, who the average American almost certainly doesn't know, regardless of her many accomplishments. Carol Rosin is the first woman to hold an executive position in the aerospace industry. She was a close associate of the late Wernher von Braun, the father of modern rocketry. Rosin held an important political and public relations campaign to stop Ronald Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative, his Star Wars fantasy, they say, of laser weapons in space to defend the United States from Russians and apparently invading aliens. She was a world peace ambassador. She was a major leftist who was instrumental in creating satellite educational programs in the U.S. that offered the first two-way audio and visual training programs for more than 20 countries. She worked with John Podesta, former Clinton White House chief of staff, and counselor to President Obama and Biden to create the Treaty on the Prevention of Placement of Weapons in Outer Space. Von Braun was included in Operation Paperclip. This is a U.S. government program that brought 1,600 top scientists to the States from Nazi Germany to facilitate post-war advancement of American technology and military programs. Von Braun was widely recognized as the leader in developing the Nazis' V-2 rocket program and also helped engineer the U.S.'s first intermediate-range ballistic missiles. Now, his complete resume would require a book, but knowing the scope of his accomplishments and his great mind will lend credence to what he said to his associate Carol Rosin later on in his life. The German scientist was the chief architect of the Saturn V rocket. It's either the V or the 5. I'm not sure which one, I beg your pardon. A super heavy lift launch vehicle that carried Apollo spacecraft to the moon. When America got serious about space, von Braun was named director of the Marshall Space Flight Center. And near the end of his career, he was presented with the National Medal of Science. He's almost universally recognized as the father of the American lunar program, the father of space travel, and the father of rocket science, which is why his words to Carol Rosin, his associate, caught everyone's attention when she went public. They became friends when von Braun was fighting cancer during the last years of his life. When he was unable to make his public appearances, she often spoke in his stead, which was an indication of his confidence in her. And possibly feeling guilt at his role in alarming the nations of the earth about technological warfare, von Braun began to share his vision for how things were going to go wrong in the future. In fact, he saw it as planned. Reagan's Star Wars was probably the first hint that the scientist's nightmare was beginning to unfold. So Rosin went very public with the information regarding von Braun and what he told her. And she was interviewed by Dr. Stephen Greer, the retired emergency room physician who has devoted his career instead to solving the question of UFOs and extraterrestrial intelligence. So I want to play for you what she said in this interview that Dr. Stephen Greer put out years and years ago. Dr. Greer sets up the many conversations Werner von Braun had with Dr. Carol Rosin as he told her about the deep state's final card. This is the beginning.
Dr. Carol Rosin is a former aerospace executive with Fairchild Industries who worked specifically for the last 4 years of his life with Werner von Braun. During those years, she learned of what Werner von Braun knew about this subject, and specifically that weapons in space were being planned many decades ago, and that it was all a hoax, that they would first use the excuse of the Cold War, then of terrorist rogue nations, then of an asteroid, and that the ultimate trump card that they would play would be to hoax an extraterrestrial threat to justify the weaponization of space. Werner von Braun begged Dr. Rosin to do what she could to keep these weapons out of space because he felt it was enormously dangerous and unwise to move down that perilous path.
And so I want you to hear what she said as she was interviewed by Dr. Stephen Greer. This is Dr. Carol Rosin. She's an aerospace executive. And she says, look, Werner von Braun warned me about a plan to build space-based weapons. And that plan required several steps to grease the public via propaganda and wild threat allegations to convince all of us that a space-based defense money pit is actually absolutely necessary. Here's this interview.
When I was a corporate manager of Fairchild Industries in 1974 through 77, I met the late Dr. Werner von Braun in early 74. At that time, von Braun was dying of cancer, but he assured me that he would live a few more years in order to tell me about the game that was being played, that game being the effort to weaponize space, to control the Earth from space and space itself. Von Braun's purpose in life during the last years of his life, his dying years, was to educate the public and decision makers about why space-based weapons are a dumb, dangerous, destabilizing, too costly, unnecessary, unworkable, undesirable idea. The strategy that Werner von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in 74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. We were told that they had killer satellites. We were told that they were coming to get us and control us, the dirty commies, that whole story. First, the Russians were the enemy against whom we're going to build space-based weapons. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies, We now call them nations of concern. But he said that would be the third enemy against whom we would be needing to build space-based weapons. And the next enemy was asteroids. Now, at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids, against asteroids, we're going to build space-based weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over, during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie. A lie.
Now, this is super interesting. I have no idea if this is true, but Dr. Greer, much like von Braun and this Carol Rosin, they believe that clandestine powers that rule the planet are running out of enemies here, and they need to turn to extraterrestrials. They need to turn those extraterrestrials into the bad guys maybe coming to our planet. And then by militarizing space and developing weaponry against this advanced enemy, they can achieve their real goal of controlling global populations and personally continuing to enrich defense and military contractors. Their approach, Dr. Greer says, keeps this planet from relying on zero-point energy and forces the continued use of fossil fuels, which is the source of great wealth for a small percentage of the globe's population. You can see it, can't you? All of this stuff. It seems to all kind of make sense in some regard. I don't know, but I do believe that if there is some kind of a reversed engineered technology that would eliminate the use of fossil fuels, a hell of a lot of people wouldn't be so rich anymore, and business and the way we do life would completely change, possibly for the better. Now, Dr. Rosin had one final thing to say. She said, what Werner von Braun was warning me about was that by the time they want you worried about aliens, do know that their fear-mongering is all about money and power.
I have concluded that it's based on a few people making a lot of money and gaining power. It's about ego. It's not about our essence and who we really are on the planet and loving each other and being at peace and cooperating, using technologies to solve problems and heal people in the planet. It isn't about that. It's about a few people who really are playing an old, dangerous, costly game for their own pocketbooks and power struggle.
Now, I have no idea how all of this fits together. Here you have clearly a woman who doesn't subscribe to a lot of the things I might, but who says that she was basically told by somebody who was excruciatingly connected as the father of modern rocketry, who's like, look, this is all a huge play. Once they start dropping stuff, what do you say? There's going to be Russia. There's the Cold War. There's that threat of communism. Then you've got to deal with things like 9/11 and terrorism. And then you've got those third world countries and the wild animals in them, Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah, right? All of this stuff. Then there's an asteroid. Now, I haven't seen any stuff about an asteroid. Have you guys? I mean, would you be surprised if tomorrow they're like, oh my gosh, this just in, there's a giant asteroid, right? You'd be like, okay, what else next? Locusts? Flying squirrels? What are they going to do next? But the final thing that she says here, it's all about money and its power and its control and its ego. It's like the oldest story of time, just brought into a new chapter that happens to involve aliens. Is it all connected? Are we all being played? Does Donald Trump aware of it? Or am I making all of this up? I have no idea. No idea. But if I find it and I ruminate on it, I've got to sprinkle it on you, duh. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, what is going on with this Hantavirus? Do you guys believe it? It's a side effect of the COVID vaccine, or is it just this big mouse thing? I don't, right? I want to know next. So I found that very interesting, very interesting. This Werner von Braun. And so I went down an 1.5-hour rabbit hole, and then I listened to her. And then she also gets up one of the parts that I didn't include, but if you're one of our folks who's a local subscriber, you have the rundown and you can get the link that we used. She talks about how they use other emergencies in the world to basically corral us into certain cattle chutes so they can control everything.
COVID?
Huh?
COVID?
Mm-hmm. Oh. But
Anthrax.
it brings up 9/11 to me. You need all these other things. So could you see some dark, dirty boogeyman firing on the Pentagon? Yeah, I can. I'd like to know where all of the pictures are of the plane's fuselage and the wings and the tail. There had to be something
asking questions
about the flight that hit the Pentagon. Like, was that a video I saw of a missile coming in? Or was that artificial intelligence? I don't know. No idea. I'm curious. Aren't you? War.
I know Rumsfeld said they lost, what, $2 trillion the day before?
That is crazy. Crazy how that works. War.info.ufo. War.gov.
Yeah, there's a
/info. I want to tell you about GLP-1 Gold. Again, we're talking about these shots. We're talking about SSRIs. We're talking about things that people have taken for years because they think they have to, or it's something that they take now and they don't know what the long-term effects of that injection or those course of injections are, thinking about the weight loss drugs. Well, what if you could lose weight by triggering that same hormone that gets triggered in the shot, but do it by using things that occur in nature, herbal remedies, things that exist that are safe, that don't involve big pharma and don't have to be injected into your body? Because if you were interested in significant weight loss, like the shot, but that wasn't the shot, it would be this. From my friends at Juvenon, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. This is their offering to you to say, hey, you can lose 30, 40, 80, 100 pounds slower with our dietary supplement, but it does the same thing just without the questions. They give you all of the ingredients. It's a supplement, squashes your appetite, and then it tells your brain to tell your gut, you're not hungry anymore. And so what do? You eat less and you lose weight. That's how it works. GLP-1 Gold by Juvenon, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. 30% off comes with that, or just throw my name in and you'll get 30%. Wendy 30, I think you even do. I don't even think you have to do that if you do the /Wendy.
/Wendy.
That's what I'm talking about. But I love them. Love them. What people usually notice is not magic weight loss, but it's feeling full sooner, fewer cravings, and less food noise during the day. Hi, can they make one which makes me crave beer less? Now maybe we're talking.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, it's just so dang delicious.
You don't lose weight when you don't drink beer.
Why?
I don't know. You don't.
Are you talking about me or are you
weight.
talking
Yes.
about you?
I'm talking about you. You don't gain weight when you stop drinking beer.
You don't gain weight when you stop drinking beer. Why would you gain
remember
weight?
you stopped for like 5 days because you're like, I need to lose 2 pounds. And you lost nothing. You're like, well, I stopped drinking beer for 5 days. I'm going to have to talk to my friend to see what he thinks about all this alien stuff.
Right? Maybe that's something that we can delve into. If you do, maybe we can, because you normally will talk to him sometimes over the weekend. So.
You want me to tune you in?
Yeah, well. I might be able to hop in on that conversation. I want to know. I want to know. What? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Look, I stumble upon stuff. Some of it fits my mindset. Some of it I'm like, what? I mean, would you be at all surprised if everything that we've gone through, 9/11, Afghanistan, Iraq, Hamas, Houthis, all this stuff is part of something bigger than we are? At this point, honestly, they want us to believe that a child can be a toaster and that we should get away. I'm going to go urinate in that kitty litter box. Okay, good luck with that. I could see any of this happening. I don't know. So anyway, our friend Peter Sweden did a story, and I got his Substack today. I subscribed. It's worth it because I love what he covers. He covers a lot of stuff in Europe. And he has this Substack at petersweden.org, and it's like, surprise, the Moderna Hantavirus mRNA vaccine project began 2 years ago. And what are we hearing about right now? What? This is very scary stuff. 3 people have died aboard the MV Hondius. It's a Dutch cruise liner where they suffered this deadly outbreak of the rare Andes Hantavirus strain. I mean, it rarely spreads from human to human via close contact, but you know what happened on this ship? 3 people croaked. All sorts of people are in quarantine. What? The ship deported Argentina in April. 3 people, including passengers and crew members, dead. Several confirmed suspected cases. And the ship, what? Is it quarantined still off of the, Cape Verde in South Africa before it was heading to the Canary Islands? And they were like, rats, totally rats did it. Well, that's kind of scary. What's hantavirus? Well, a family of viruses carried mainly by mice and rats. Humans get infected by breathing in dust contaminated with their urine, droppings, or saliva. Symptoms start out flu-like but can progress to lung failure, and it can be serious. 50% fatality in the Americas. Oh my gosh! What's coming up? There's an election coming up. What's not working for the Democrats? Pretty much anything else. Come on, you're just being so skeptical. Yeah. So let's read what Peter Sweden's talking about. There was a very interesting detail during COVID that most people missed, in large part because it wasn't really reported on by the mainstream media. The detail is something that really makes one think. We covered it. Thank you very much. Back in 2016, Moderna applied for a patent that included a specific 19 nucleotide sequence. This is 100% complementary match of what was found near the furin cleavage site in the COVID virus. What? And that part of the patent was part of the optimized synthetic mRNA that was designed by Moderna to produce a part of a human protein. Well, now the furin cleavage site is something that makes COVID unique compared to its closest virus relative. It's because it was fiddled with. At furin cleavage site is why the COVID virus was so effective in infecting humans. It's kind of like what they were working on, the Wuhan Institute of Virology, but that's just me. So this very thing that was unusual with the COVID virus and made it so effective in infecting humans, Moderna had a patent for that nucleotide sequence. Researchers say this is highly unusual, but that there is a possibility that it happened naturally. Right. Now, guess what I found, he writes. Moderna began working on an mRNA vaccine for hantavirus in 2024. Weird. It's also been reported that Moderna stock has jumped 10% amid the hantavirus outbreak. You may have seen the fear-mongering on the news recently about the hantavirus outbreak on that cruise ship. So what else is going on? Let me tell you some more details about Moderna and their hantavirus vaccine project. And, oh, by the way, the WHO, the World Health Organization, Tedros guy, he just said and used hantavirus as an example of why America should reconsider leaving the World Health Organization. In 2024, Moderna began a collaboration with something called the Vaccine Innovation Center at the Korea University College of Medicine. And that center in Korea would provide the antigen sequence to Moderna. Meanwhile, Moderna would be behind the mRNA preclinical vaccine project with Moderna's mRNA access program, where they're working on this stuff. And what do you want to bet? It's going to be ready for us to try here, lickety split, just in the nick of time before they say we need all of these mail-in ballots. It's not safe. Oh no. It's not funny that people die, and I don't make fun of that because nobody should die because some people suck. Right? Now, can I connect all of this together and be like, it sounds like Moderna's behind this virus? No, but it sure is odd that they're working on its antidote before it becomes such a problem at such a critical point in American history, like a serious midterm election. We'll keep our eyes on it and our best people all over it, ladies and gentlemen, don't you know? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, all those doomsday apocalyptic climate predictions, turns out those were total garbage. I know. Shocker. Next.
Wasn't the Moderna the one the government worked with? Get that patent for.
Stop it.
I was just asking. I'll know my role.
Right?
Let's look at who owns.
Moderna pays $400 million in royalties to former Fauci-led agency. Do you want to keep going? Like,
Well, let's look who owns top institutional shareholders of Moderna. Vanguard,
BlackRock,
State Street.
What?
What? No,
That's
way.
Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
They want us to join the WHO. Who's the biggest supporter of the WHO?
And by the way, who also just came out and told us we should really chillax a little bit on this climate alarmism stuff, said the guy, the poster child of climate alarmism.
Of milk.
Bill freaking we're going to give you some special milk, breast milk for your fake baby, fake breast milk.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have some fake meat,
Can
too.
you think of anything more vile? We're going to block the sun. Like, you're a diabolical Mr. Burns. You need to go away.
I was going to say, what is he watching? The Simpsons?
He needs to go away. Anywho, let's talk. Texas Bullion Exchange. My friends at wendylovesgold.com. I returned my metals to the safety deposit box where it can sit and percolate and gain value. It's heavy to lug around, I'll tell you, but it's my kind of weight. I'll drag that around with me all day. wendylovesgold.com.
That's the weight you don't want to lose.
wendylovesgold.com. You've heard about all of these people buying gold and silver and whatnot, and you're like, oh my gosh, those must be the 1%ers. They're so rich. Well, actually, it's a lot more available, especially if you have a retirement plan. If you have an IRA, you can have a gold-backed IRA by Texas Bullion Exchange, wendylovesgold.com. So you don't have to front $10,000, $40,000. But I'm saying, if you do have great wealth, right, and you've got it sitting somewhere where it's doing zero for you, why wouldn't you call 855-927-5557 and get some gold and silver? And then get it because they have this principal protection program where, in addition to possibly qualifying for 6% free silver, get 6% of your they'll give you free if you get a principal protected program portfolio. And that means you're not going to sell your gold or silver or platinum or palladium back to them for less than what you bought it for. So they protect you. They give you an insurance policy and free silver. Tell me how that works out. I don't know. But they do love you. wendylovesgold.com. They're geeked when you go there. And they're super psyched when you call 855-927-5557. Tell them I said hi. All right.
I wonder how many people that took the COVID shot would take the Hantavirus shot.
Well, you know what? You've got your true believers out there who have to be willfully blind. I don't know if they're capable of saying, I have critical questions about what was done to us. I think there's a knee-jerk no. That's not what happened because they can't wrap their... My sister, I know, has had 9 of them.
9.
Well, there was the first shot, and then the second shot, then there was the this, and then the that, and then there's something annually after that. And then just in case. Right? I love people who are in our neighborhood, who I know took it, who on the DL try to like get in Joe's wheelhouse. So like an email, like, hey, what do you know about myocarditis? Nothing at all.
I've never heard of that. Myocarditis was insurrection.
Yeah. It was.
How many people really heard of myocarditis
yeah,
unless it affected someone you knew?
Right on. No, that's well said. Well said. Anyway, we have kind of a mishmash of stuff, but this, the 2:30, we're going to go over this Washington Post, ABC News poll, because I think everybody realizes that, it's not something that's cliche to say this is MAGA country, because this is MAGA country. And you have awakened a lot of people in flyover America, in rural America, who are tired of watching the crazy of the inner city and the blue bullshit. And these people coming out of the woodwork, and they're showing up at freaking primaries.
I think they've awoken people who aren't MAGA to all the lies, the COVIDs, all this crap.
Well,
I don't think they anticipated the backlash.
I think you're absolutely right about that. I think that is the best way to put it. I don't think they anticipated people saying no. Right? How many times we've had stories, how did the fraud get this bad?
That I think is going to be
nobody was checking. And Ilhan Omar almost laughed about it. She's like, there weren't enough guide rails. Well, you know what her legislation in Congress did? It removed the guide rails. So the Feeding Our Future bullcrap, $250 million swindle, they were supposed to be feeding hungry people.
Look, Ella Emhoff or whatever her name is, she's waking up. And, you have a bunch of kids now that don't know how to cope.
P.S. If she got off of her antidepressants, and one of my conservative sons opened the door for her, I wonder if she'd be like, I can open it myself. And no, there's actually a way that we can get back to not being a toxic biatch, and realize that we have traditional roles in this world, and it's time we get back to it because they freaking work.
Well, I always say you never know how bad you feel until you feel good. That's what she's feeling right now. She's going from numb to...
Hit the rumble button, that thumbs up button. We got 8,500 people watching somehow. However the bejeebers that happened. So
4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. A reminder, all 3 hours, noon to 3 Eastern weekdays here. WendyBellRadio.com. So look, I'm going to tell every journalist out there, I'm going to tell every talking head, everybody who followed Al Gore and that blowhard from Blowhardia himself, every scientist, everybody out there who tried to finger wag you and browbeat you into giving up your charcoal grill, giving up your gas chugging lawnmower or your giant F-150, they can all suck it. Because all of these stupid climate models, all of this climate alarmist garbage, did you see that they're quietly rolling it back like, shh, not, the polar ice caps are melting and oh my gosh, we're going to be underwater in no time, right? Even though Plymouth Rock has been in the same place for the last 700 years and it hasn't moved, which kind of lends to the whole idea that the water isn't rising, right? All of that stuff has been garbage. And over the last 6 months, they've been trying to like pull back on the brakes on this whole alarmist stuff. Wait, what? We're not all going to die and need gas masks. What didn't Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez say something stupid about that? Didn't she? What did she say,
says
Brock?
stupid stuff all the time.
But it
you
was
gotta
like,
be more
she
specific.
had like some specificity. She's like finite time. She's like, look, in the next 15 months, we're all going to die.
It was 8 years, I think.
Well, this is the same woman who was like, look, there are people drinking out of toilets. And you're like, mm-hmm. So anyway, Zero Hedge is the only place that I could find this. But when I go back and I look, 6 months ago, Bill Gates started winding out the whole stopping such climate alarmists. The guy who was like, we need to make every young girl in the entire sub-Saharan African continent infertile, right? Hurry up, take this shot. The guy who was like, let's put up something to block the sun because that's a good idea. He's the one telling you, shh, you're getting a little wacky out there. UN climate panel quietly admits its doomsday climate scenarios were implausible. I'm sorry. What does that mean? Kamala Harris is asking, right? That means impossible. So you got for 15 years, you guys are the ones, right? Doesn't Maura Healey want to drill down into the river and put in a big windmill in Boston? Isn't that what you want to do? Because that's going to help things so much. We're going to make a lot of electricity that way. We're going to kill every single, thing that swims there, but it's going to be perfect. All of these losers who've gone out and gone haywire and have changed their world. I've got to buy a Tesla. And then, how'd that work for you? The UN climate panel is like, well, the models were flawed. You don't say. You don't say. Is that like how everything about COVID changed after we figured it out and we called out the offenders and went out for blood? Oh, well, maybe the masks don't work. You got me. Let's read this. This is so dumb. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has just published the next generation of climate scenarios, right? Calling it big news that eliminated the most extreme scenarios that have dominated climate research over the much of the past several decades. Oh, it's several decades. Really? Is there anything out there that's not a grift? Like, I care about the climate. I care about my impact on the climate. I have 5 children. I'm cognizant of the waste that we make. We recycle. I don't need to do things that damage the environment. I don't litter. I don't believe my carbon footprint is something that's even worthy of discussion, considering Bill Gates is so important. He has to fly private jet all over the place as you peons, right, get finger wagged for what you're doing, mowing your grass in Southern California after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. How dare you? Right? I grew up in Southern California where we didn't have freaking water. Why didn't we have water? Oh, it's a drought. Or we don't have water because they're taking it and they're channeling it into the freaking Pacific Ocean. Maybe that's why. I mean, come on. It's every way in which to scare you, to control you, and to grift off of you. This is why we believe no one. Where's Greta Little Thunberg? I'd like to throat punch that little sweet princess and throw her down the stairs. She's the one who we caught. Remember how she was going to do some blockade? I'm going to paint my hands and I'm going to stick them to this bridge. It's like, well, run over her already, right? And she's caught with actor cops. Right? And they're getting ready and action. And then she's like, oh no. And they're dragging her off for the photo op. And you're like, first of all, nobody cares about you. Second of all, you've parlayed your angry finger wagging into quite a lucrative career for yourself. Chick is a multimillionaire, right? Where's Al Gore? He's fatter than ever. He's not out there looking healthy. He's not some that guy right there. That'd be Bobby Kennedy, the former heroin addict who now can do pull-ups. He's 70 years old and he's right. And there's Al Gore who's I mean, what are we doing here, guys? I don't even need to give you all of the specifics. Do you really need to know how ridiculous it's been? Well, let's see. This is a significant institutional retreat. Well, that's kind of watering it down a bit. I mean, if we were going to be honest, we wouldn't call it an institutional retreat. We'd call it liars. These are the kinds of people who demand you to treat them like experts. Look, anybody who wants to tell me they're an expert, I immediately don't trust. I'm an expert on these things. Real experts don't say that. Like real heroes aren't like, I'm kind of a hero. They're like, I don't want to be called a hero, right? Real experts kind of fly under the radar and they're like, hey, I think we should be talking about this instead. These folks wanted you to change every damn thing you did. We had Jeep, okay? Jeep, who was hook, line, and sinker, ready to never make a gas-powered vehicle again. Do you guys want to drive your Wrangler through the woods, four-wheeling, right? With a freaking battery? Did anybody ever pay attention to the whole, we're going to have electric school buses and we're going to do it where it's super duper cold because batteries always do great when it's sub-zero. And then we're all like, what? Proterra, the company that makes the electric buses in Portland, it went belly up. Oh, but Jennifer Granholm, she invested a lot in it before she pulled all that money out, right? Look, this is ridiculous. And yet there are people on your street who are like, save the whales. I want to save the whales as much as the next person. How about we start by not drilling, holes into the ocean floor and fudging up their sonar so they mysteriously wash up dead on the beach and people are like, that's so weird. It's got to be global warming. Or it's been one of the most ridiculous grifts that you and I have lived through. Look, the next person who wants to look at me and any gas guzzling, you can suck it. You do you, I'll do me, right? And we'll figure all of this out. But lying about ocean levels and polar caps and pollution, why don't we talk about all of the trails in the skies? What do we call those chemtrails? What's all that? What are they spraying into the atmosphere? Why do we have to have that? Why do we have to inject our food with chemicals? Why does that happen in the agricultural level? Why do we need 7 million pesticides on stuff? Pesticides that kill us. They don't just kill bugs. They kill us. And so we're all just giant fat tards sitting on the couch eating Cheez-Its. This is what they want. They want you afraid. They want you fat like Al Gore. They want you chirping out about all their stuff, acting like you're a little mini activist. And they hope that you get sick because if you do, well, they've got a shot for that. Yeah. I mean, anything else? What do you guys want to talk about next? This is anybody with critical thought. And that's you. That's you. You could smell this a mile away. You could see what's going on. You could see how they want to use this. For the EPA under Joe Biden in the last 7 seconds of the administration to give Stacey freaking Abrams, that abject moron who cost Atlanta the what? What was it? What baseball game was it?
The All-Star game.
The All-Star game, and lost $100 million that primarily Black business owners would have benefited from. To give her $2 billion and some climate initiative when the year prior her nonprofit made $100. I mean, it's almost like you guys see what's going on the way I do. So next time somebody looks at you as you fire up your diesel, right? Give them a little fungu. Yeah, we don't trust the science anymore. It's not trustworthy. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, this is something I enjoy. We're going to talk about MAGA. Is MAGA following the leader, or is the leader following MAGA? New poll by Harry Enton next. Literally, you don't even have to go into why they fudged it. Well, we had a coding error. We missed the zero. Well, my accountant made a mistake. It wasn't $30 million. It was really 100,000. Sorry, my bad.
You think, going back to the aliens, you would think that the libs would be all over this. I was just thinking about this. Jet propulsion and not having gasoline.
We don't want to have pollution.
Wouldn't the Democrats be all over that?
Right.
Climate?
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Also, you would imagine that the women's libbers would be out for all of the young women who have been hurt by ridiculous Democrat policies, whether it's being raped, sodomized in a bathroom by a tranny boy who wasn't tranny because the adults in the room suck, or it's an illegal alien who, what was the case? The guy who was driving 100 miles an hour without his lights on, who plowed into a cop and killed him. I mean, how many of our young daughters have to be raped and murdered by illegals?
But that really
should not
wasn't
have been here.
That wasn't illegal because the cop didn't have his lights on. So that it was an unfortunate accident. It wasn't.
Look, this is part and parcel of why I say I hate everyone. And I certainly don't hate everyone. I do hate most people, though. That's not true either. Majority, but
9,200 watching.
It's one of those things that's difficult because you want to have a great good news today. Coming up in just about 45 minutes, 25 minutes.
People being people.
It's not complicated. It's not complicated to be a good person.
Like hitting that rumble button.
It's not complicated to tell the truth. It's not complicated to take collagen. That wasn't the smoothest transition. But I want to tell you,
you should still hit rumble.
Look, I want to tell you something. I'm a 56-year-old mother of 5. We've got a lot of new eyes on here. I'm a fit woman. However, your collagen, you stop producing it. It really starts to wane after your 30s. And then you get into perimenopause and menopause. And it's like, oh, I'm a total prune, right? Taking collagen is a giant step in the right direction. And I take it every single day. I started about 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. And they say you need to take for 4 to 6 months. It is extraordinarily affordable. Our friends at getnativepath.com/Wendy. It's up to 45% off. It's like pennies a scoop, right? And I take 1 scoop. Brooks puts it in my drink every day. And 10 grams of that. I want to fight what I started seeing. And it's that weird skin on your arm. Like all of a sudden the elasticity of your skin starts getting weird. And I'm like, yo, no. And so I got in touch with Native Path and I'm like, please. And they sent me. So every single day, and I drink it on the weekends at home. You have to do it consistently, but it's dumb not to do this. It's dumb for men and women not to do this. Cheap, cheap, cheap. And wonderful company. Wonderful company. I've been with them for years. Getnativepath.com/Wendy. I believe in this. I'm doing it. I hope you do too. Okay. That said, where are we?
Hit the rumble button. Hit the follow button.
Yeah, you guys, it's nice to have so many people here. This is kind of how we used to roll when we were on at 9 to noon. We'd get up to 10,000 people watching live, and it was great. And we switched to noon to 3 and took a major hit. But we're building back up, and we're delighted that you're here. So if you're just finding us, wendybellradio.com is a great way to do so. And then hit that rumble button, which is the thumbs up button underneath the video box. With all of you here, there's no reason we shouldn't hit 3,000 today. Or you can hop on over to the comment section and be like, who is this sassy, fabulous woman? Duh.
Or you could just hit the rumble button.
I guess that works too. Oh, Harry.
This is for
in this beautiful country is a great day to be an American, and it's true. But it is a really great day to be an honest, America-loving conservative. It just is, because I feel like we're beginning to win again. And it's been a long ride. And we've chronicled it with you. We struggled with you, very honestly with you. I've given you my heart. I've told you my story. I do not lie to you. So when I see stuff like this from Harry, I'm not so sure Harry Enton over at CNN. I don't know if he understands that it's not Donald Trump that's doing this. It's MAGA that's doing this. So the question here is, if Democrats are worried about all of the seats they're losing in the South, they certainly are not going to like to hear this. Is MAGA following the leader, or is that leader following the wishes of MAGA? Harry Enton at the wall. He's like, look, when you don't do as Trump wants, you get eliminated. Trump's midterm GOP approval at this point in the cycle shows he is as popular as he has been at any point in his political career, which is huge. Listen.
As Indiana goes, so goes the nation when it comes to Republican voters and Donald John Trump. He absolutely still has the juice. And when you're a Republican and you go against Trump, you get voted off the island. I always love Survivor. And in this particular case, what we saw in Indiana was you go, adios, amigos, goodbye, see you later. And to me, that is emblematic of what we see nationwide with Republicans. I think there's this myth that's going on right now that, oh, Trump is really losing support among Republicans. But compared to other midterm cycles, he's just as popular with Republicans as he has ever been at this point in midterm cycles. Right now, nationally, we're talking about an approval rating on average of 84%. In 2022, his popularity rating was 76%, actually lower, right, when he wasn't in the presidency. In 2018, the last time he was president, 85%. That 85 looks a whole heck of a lot like this 84% right here. The bottom line is this: Donald Trump still absolutely has juice with Republican voters. You saw it in Indiana, and I think that you'll see it down the line as well if any Republicans try and go against the President of the United States, who is still very much beloved by Republican voters nationwide.
100%. He's doing what we asked him to do. He's doing what we hired him to do. We created Donald Trump. MAGA did that. You did that. Donald Trump did not create you. He did not create you. It's the other way. MAGA voters say something very interesting about the importance of showing up to vote this November. And if Indiana on Tuesday was any indication, when you had MAGA Republicans coming out in firm force and booting Rhino incumbents who voted against the redistricting that Donald Trump wanted of Indiana, they booted 5 out of 6 of them. That's an indication of what's coming. Uh-oh.
What are you seeing in turnout? Why is this significant to this conversation?
Okay, why is it significant? Because we know that within the Republican Party, Trump has that extra strong core, that MAGA base, right? We're talking about approval ratings, depending on which poll you look at, 95, 97, 100% with MAGA Republicans. And here's the thing. They are incredibly juiced up compared to other Republicans. Because let's take a look here. Republicans who say it's more important to vote in 2026 than the usual midterm election. Look at this. 60% of MAGA identifying Republicans say that, compared to just 36% of non-MAGA. So what's going on in these primaries, right? It's not just that you have this core Republican base that really loves Donald Trump. The people who really love him, they're the ones who are absolutely juiced up to go out and vote. They would go over hot coals to vote in those primaries. And you saw that in Indiana, with a clear majority of those representatives who went against Trump on redistricting. Well, they're no longer going to have a job come the next session of that state.
And a big heads up for Republican representatives. You better pay attention and follow President Trump's lead, because this is what MAGA wants.
Then the question is, do Republicans think that party leaders should be following Trump, or other Republicans should be following Trump?
Yeah, okay. So you see this juiced up MAGA, right? You see right here that his support among Republicans is just as strong as it was going into the 2018 midterm cycle, right? But it's more than that. Republican voters want their party leaders to follow the President of the United States, because party leaders should follow the president's lead. You know, for Joe Biden at the same point in his first term, just 57% of Democrats said that party leaders should follow his lead. Look at this number for Donald Trump. It's 75%, significantly higher than it was for Joe Biden. So it's not just that Republicans really like Donald Trump, it's they want their leaders to follow Donald Trump. And when they don't, as I said at the beginning, you get voted off the island.
It's not just, as he says, tomorrow or on Monday, of course, Trump will be in the crap house sucking wind with his voters, because Harry likes to go up and down. But he talks about this poll. This is this new ABC News Washington Post poll. And I pulled it up, ladies and gentlemen. It is super interesting. It is the first time I've ever seen a poll exactly use MAGA Republicans as a crosstab, and what it tells us about how MAGA conservatives feel about this president and his job should have Democrats sweating bullets. Next. I love this part. So Harry has to say that. Now, I will say all of the reporting on this ABC News Washington Post poll is like they glommed one thing out of it. MAGA Republicans did not like when President Trump made a picture of himself being the Pope. Wasn't that what it was? He was a Pope?
Well, he said he was saying he was Jesus.
Okay, whatever. So that was the thing that they took umbrage with.
I don't understand why
That
he's the
was-
only guy that can't joke.
You can do no right. You can only do wrong, my man. And that's it. But it's a very interesting poll. I mean, again, we're going to walk through it with you. All right. I want to read it to you because I think it's interesting. But this is the headline. This is of all of the data I'm going to share with you. And we're going to literally go through it line by line because it's fascinating to see how people who are Make America Great Again conservatives, how they feel about what this president is doing vis-a-vis Iran, the economy, immigration, blah, blah, blah. Are you in sync with what this president is doing? And what you find is this double helix connection. We are on top of each other like white on rice. That's what they can't stand because they don't have anybody even to get behind, let alone a message of anything other than suck. All right, disinfectwithsniper.com. We have eyes here, and you guys have not heard about this product. If you have children who play sports, hockey, football, lacrosse, and their pads smell like death, not after you spray them with this. Disinfectwithsniper.com, right? How about kitty litter boxes? How about you had a baby or somebody you know had a baby and they have a diaper genie, which is one of those twisty things and you just stick dirty diapers in there and it's rancid. Terrible. Disinfectwithsniper.com. You have germs, bacteria, fungal infections. Ever have the feeling that you're getting athlete's foot? I have never had it, but my sons and husband have.
Mm-hmm.
You spray this in between your toes. Lights out fungal infection. What about Lutrimend? Don't need it. Right? How about your car, your steering wheel, every knob? Psh, psh, psh. You don't even have to wipe it off. It does its job. It's safe on fabrics. It's safe on cabinets. It's safe on countertops. All this stuff. Safe for your pets. Safe for your children. And it's the #1 hospital.
Yeah, you can spray it in your mouth.
I sometimes just spray it in my face. I like the smell. I like the smell of it. There's this very clean smell about it that I love. Disinfectwithsniper.com. You don't pay for shipping.
Mm-mm.
He took that out to compete with Amazon. I'm like, you're kind of a brown ass. I like you. Disinfectwithsniper.com. This product, I mean,
it works on nasty renters too.
You walk into a place. We had somebody, our friend, who said that they had a rental property and the person had cats. And the cats peed all over the place. And so they had to remove everything. And it still smelled like cat urine. And so they were like, psh, psh, psh. And I think they actually even poured it in a couple of things and put it in different places. And it killed the odor. Then there was a person, the sister product to Knockout. The other product, somebody was like, I bought an old bank safe, like a big vault, big thing, like, and you're like, and you open it up and it's like poof, 1940s and it smells like 1940s, musky, like bleh. And so they took a cloth and saturated it with Knockout and left it in there overnight. Open it up the next morning and they were like, gone. Smoky car smell, sayonara.
Cigar
rooms, right? Stinky stuff. Knockout. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Cigar smell good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't spread fake news and say it doesn't smell good.
You do you, babe. I don't care what you do. Whatever. Right? So how are you guys? 8,200. Hi. I'm so glad you've been here. Hopefully we've gotten some rumbles out of you. 2.37, which is feeble. Obviously.
See if we have any followers since we got them.
Obviously, you rumblers aren't familiar with that very special button. But we're happy to be here. So good to have
11
you.
new followers.
How many?
11. From the last time I checked.
I don't know
which was
why
10 minutes
anybody.
ago.
I don't know why anybody would want to tune out because this This poll is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So we're going to read you. Let's see. Let me pull up the crosstabs.
And if you have a cat pee smell problem, maybe it's your cat.
What do you
check out the pet show? Dr. Mike will be able to help you.
I'm trying to get
What are you doing?
I'm trying to get it to focus again. There we go. Hi. I find that when I get out of the way, it's a brighter light on my face and it makes me look younger. Let me just be honest.
Yeah. That's the ticket.
This is this is the part that you can't help, right? Weren't there?
Well, that's why we have filters.
I'm already at 50%. It's getting kind of gnarly.
Yeah, we're gonna have to kick that up a little bit. Pet show tomorrow, 10 a.m. Dr. Mike Hutchinson. All you have to do is ask your question in the chat. I'll butcher whatever you ask, and he'll answer it. We do no prep work, so it's all relying on you guys asking questions.
Yeah, if you want a world-renowned veterinarian to answer your question,
he's your guy.
He is an actual scientist. Yeah. That's a scientist I trust.
He reads the white
He might be
papers
the
for
only
fun.
one. Yeah, he might be the only one. True.
I wish I was a dog. I'd love to be my.
Up in this segment, and I really encourage you to hang for it, because sometimes just hearing something that is common sense, goodness, and kindness, it goes a long way to setting you up for your weekend. And I'm gonna tee that up for you here in about 10 minutes. So I want to talk to you about this new Washington Post ABC News poll. And the Washington Post, it's very detailed. It's 2,560 adults. They were questioned, let's see, April 24th through the 28th. So you kind of get an idea of what the conversation was. This is before some stuff that happened this week in the news, but this is 24th to 28th. This is what the Washington Post takeaway is. Poll finds broad rejection of religion-related messages from Trump and Hegseth. That's literally what they got out of it. And I was like, really? I want to read this poll. And so I started doing some digging, and I got the actual crosstabs. So if you're part of our locals page, locals.com, just plug in Wendy Bell Radio. We give you our entire rundown. Every single story I talk about, every single link, every single website, every single soundbite. You'll find it there. I want to read you this because this is unusual to me. And they could be doing this for a while, and this is the first time I've seen it, but this is interesting. One of their crosstabs, so they have, adults. They have registered voters, male, female, Democrat, Republican. They have which way do you lean? And then there's a separate subsection, and it's called MAGA Republicans. And it breaks it up in two, MAGA Republicans and non-MAGA Republicans. And so the Washington Post and ABC News acknowledge that what you and I are seeing in Indiana, that you and I are seeing in Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi, hopefully soon, Georgia, South Carolina, where this whole MAGA momentum, where we're unwinding the damage that was done by the Democrats and by ineffective rhino Republicans, and we're carving these people out and we're taking back our country. And ABC News and Washington Post acknowledge that by asking these questions of this very specific subset too. So I wanted to show you, are we in line, if you consider yourself a Make America Great Again Republican, which I am, duh. I don't know why everybody wouldn't be. Why wouldn't you be even a Make America Great Again Democrat if you could? That should be the overarching thing. Let's get to this. Do you approve or disapprove of the way Donald Trump is handling his job as president? 95% of MAGA Republicans approve. Okay? 95%. Do you approve or disapprove of the way the president is handling each of the following? Okay? So here we go. Number one, immigration. MAGA Republicans, 98% approve of the way Donald Trump is handling immigration. How about the situation with Iran? Do you approve or disapprove of that? 86% of MAGA Republicans approve of the way the president is handling Iran. Do you approve or disapprove of the way that Trump is handling, let's see, immigration at the southern border? Yes. Do you approve or disapprove? 97% approve. Taxes. How is Trump handling taxes? Does MAGA approve? Yes. 87% approve of the way the president is doing that. How about this? Do you approve or disapprove of the way J.D. Vance is handling his job? MAGA Republicans, 90% approve. How about Pete Hegseth? 79% of MAGA Republicans approve. You guys, these numbers are jaw-dropping. This is complete solidarity. How about RFK Jr.? You like the way he's doing it? 81% of MAGA Republicans approve. Marco Rubio, I'm surprised by this. I thought it would be higher. 80% approve of MAGA Republicans, approve of him. How about Jay Powell? How's he doing as chair of the Fed? How strongly approve? Yeah, no. 38% approve. 34% of MAGA disapprove. This in every single question, MAGA Republicans, vast majority, 70% or higher, are completely in lockstep with this president. Do you approve or disapprove of the way Kash Patel is handling his job? 72% of MAGA says approve. Which political party, the Democrats or the Republicans, do you trust to do a better job handling each of the following? Immigration, 96% of MAGA, of course, said Republicans. Well, would you say the country is going in the right direction? 87% of MAGA Republicans say yes. The country is heading exactly in the direction I wish. Okay, how about this? The Democratic Party in general. Do you think the political views of the Democratic Party is too liberal, too conservative, or just about right? 92% of MAGA Republicans say it's too liberal, obviously. Of the Republican Party in general, do you think the political views of the political party, the Republicans, too liberal, too conservative, or just about right? 85% of MAGA Republicans say, I like it. Feeling pretty good to me, just about right. How do you feel about Trump handling, let's see, do you think Trump's views on most issues are too liberal for you, too conservative for you, or just about right? 91% of MAGA Republicans say just about right. Do you think Donald Trump isn't looking at this and saying thank you to the ABC News Washington Post people? Because it's confirming exactly everything that he's doing, because MAGA Republicans are telling the president of the United States what we want. All right, how about this? Do you think these do or don't apply to Trump? He has the mental sharpness it takes to serve effectively as president. Yes or no? 96% of MAGA Republicans, yes. Do you think he's in good enough physical health to serve effectively as the president? 96% said yes, he is. Do you think he is a strong leader? 98% of MAGA Republicans say yes. Do you think he carefully considers important decisions? 87% said yes. Since Trump took office last year, do you think the amount of corruption in Washington has increased, decreased, or stayed about the same? MAGA Republicans, 58% said decreased. In general, do you support or oppose Trump using the U.S. military to force changes in other countries? 71% of MAGA Republicans said they support it. Considering everything, do you think the United States did the right thing in using the military and force against Iran, or do you think this was a mistake? 88% of MAGA Republicans say it was the right decision. Regardless of what you think about the decision to use the military force, do you think U.S. actions in Iran this year have been successful, not successful, or too soon to tell? 56% of MAGA Republicans said successful. 41% said, but it's still too early to tell. You guys, this is an absolute blistering wake-up call for the Democratic Party. They're being torn to shreds by progressive wackadoodles. Hakeem Jeffries is trying to the race to the bottom, to pretend as though, so that you can lasso the support of a pretty fickle segment of your demographic, your progressives. MAGA Republicans, almost 100% in line with what this president is doing. And by the way, if you're a Democrat, you're paying as much attention to that as the president of the United States is, period. And I'm sure the Democrats wish they had a little bit more of this. The week every time with good news, because there doesn't seem to be enough of it. I feel the same way you do. And I absolutely love Steve Hartman from CBS News. He takes us on the road to America's heartland, to Nebraska, where we are all reminded that I told you, it's just not complicated. Do not go anywhere. It is your bad jokes. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Did you pre-read?
No, I didn't.
I did not either.
By the way, happy Mother's Day to all of you. Happy Mother's Day. May all of you beautiful women out there feel special for the gifts that you have been given and that you've given us. So I want to read this to you because we asked about this. And Dorothy writes this. This is in the comments the other day. She said, my husband had kidney cancer in 2017, which was already spread to his bone and his lung. We refused treatments because we told them if they biopsied the other locations, they would spread it worse. During COVID, we started using ivermectin often. And my husband works for livestock farms, cleaning manure pits when there is a large amount of parasites. 1.5 years ago, they broke his arm in the local hospital doing an x-ray from the bone cancer. They wanted him to go on everyday chemo, and we told them, no, go to hell. He's in every day on ivermectin and fenbendazole and feeling great. We are both on the animal drugs for ivermectin and fenbendazole. We lost all trust in doctors. Our daughter is a nurse and she thinks we're crazy, but someday she'll learn. Thank you, Wendy of Brock. Like, you know what? You know what this president wants? He doesn't want, we don't necessarily have to go tell people, go do that per se, but he wants you to be able to decide what you want to do. He wants you to decide what works for you. What do you think? You know, what do you think about these UFO files? What do you think about Epstein? What do you think about the Rose Garden and the marble? What do you think about tariffs? What do you think about all of it? And he wants you to decide what you think. It doesn't want to tell you. And they wanted to keep you from potential life-saving stuff. Like that's the epitome of dark. It's the epitome of dark.
Well, think about it. You already know, like, if you have cancer, let's say it's pancreatic, since that's the hardest one.
I'm already poisoned.
Why wouldn't you want to try something and be like,
anything?
I know what's going to happen here. I'm going to feel like shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to die.
And remember, I got booted off of YouTube. Somehow I'm not in a lifetime ban anymore, but they can suck it. But they booted me because they said people said that I told the people on this program to drink bleach.
Yeah.
And that's just the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Excuse me. That's just stupid. Do better. But because there was this infiltration of, you know, leftists and government officials and other hacks who were desperate to keep the secret, the propaganda alive. You know, I paid the price, and so did Brock. This is total crap. It's total crap. Like we played for you that Dr. Carol Rosin. That's not some singing endorsement or ringing endorsement of Donald Trump or any of this stuff that's going on. It's another thing. Like, are we being played by this? I want to know what all the scientists are dead from. They're working on stuff that would make irrelevant fossil fuels.
Which is huge.
That's my
Maybe
philosophy.
Not total relevancy, but the big bucks. Yeah.
Right. So that's my hypothesis. I don't know what you guys think. I'm not going to tell you what to think, but that's why we have this chat.
Yeah. If you don't show up on Sunday, happy Mother's Day.
Yes. We hope to see you 7 a.m. Eastern time. It's Weekends with Wendy. It's no makeup and the tiara, but we talk about the stuff that we really don't talk about on this program. Sometimes it gets dirty, like colorful language, and I apologize for that. But it's usually me. We walk down rabbit holes. We go down rabbit holes and just kick around ideas. Why not? It's safe.
And effective.
And free.
That's the best part.
I know. You guys. Bell radio program. As always, we wrap you up and send you off on this beautiful Mother's Day weekend, and a very warm and loving Mother's Day to all of you life givers out there. I love you. All right, it's time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just flew in from New York, and boy, my arm's tired. I'm joking, of course. Anywho, welcome to the Comedy Club. Won't you give it up to Wendy and Brock for Bad Joke Friday?
All right, as always, we begin with the first joke, always Dr. Richard Rafferty's from the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh, and it goes like this. Patty and Murphy are sitting in the pub sipping their beers. Murphy turns to Patty and says, "So I guess you made it home okay last night. I mean, you were pretty drunk when you left the pub." "Oh, yes," says Patty. "I decided to leave my car here and take the bus home instead." "Where did you find a bus around here?" asked Murphy. "Actually, I was so drunk that I can't remember," replies Patty. "Well, I'm glad you made it home safely," says Murphy. "Yeah," agrees Patty. "It was a real surprise to me." Confused, Murphy says, "Why are you surprised that you made it home safely if you took the bus?" Patty replies, "Well, you see, I've never driven a bus before."
That was a lot for no return on investment. I invested a minute and a half.
I had to create a fake accent.
I know, and it was excellent. 3 women, 2 younger, and my grandmother were sitting naked in a sauna. Suddenly, there was a beeping sound. One of the younger women pressed her forearm, and the beeping stopped. The other woman looked at her curiously. She said, That's my pager. I have a microchip under my skin and my arm." A few minutes later, the phone rings. Second young woman lifts up her palm to her ear. When she's finished, she explains, "That was my mobile phone. I have a microchip in my hand." My grandma felt very low tech. Not wanting to be outdone, she excuses herself and went to the bathroom. She returned with a piece of toilet paper hanging out of her rear end. The other 2 stared, wide-eyed. Grandma looked over her shoulder and says, "Well, would you look at that? I'm getting a fax." That could be one of the best ones ever.
That was worth it. If you stuck around, that was worth it. Where do you take someone who's been in a peekaboo accident? To the ICU. Oh, I know, it's really stupid.
I asked my wife why she married me.
Yeah.
She said, "Because I'm funny." I said, "I thought it was because I was good in bed." She said, "See, you're hilarious."
Oh my goodness. What do you call a bee that can't make up its mind? Maybe.
Oh, God. You got all the crappy
I know.
ones. So a husband and a wife are talking. The wife says, "Let's play a game." The husband says, "What game?" She says, I will say a color, you touch the left wall. I'll say a fruit, you touch the right wall." Husband says, "And if I win?" She says the loser has to obey the winner for life.
Wow.
Imagine bad
Yeah,
enough.
holy cow.
Husband says, easy win. Let's do it. Wife says, ready, set, go. Orange. The husband's been standing in the middle of the room for 3 days now, trying to figure out, was that a color
Oh my God.
or a fruit? The moral of the story, never challenge your wife.
That's true. Why aren't dogs allowed in bars? Because they can't control their liquor.
Oh, God, that's my dog. What's the best thing about Switzerland? I don't know, but the flag's a big plus.
A man in the hospital wakes up after a week-long coma and he asks, how did I get here? The nurse replies, your wife asked you what was on TV and you replied, dust.
So a kid's having a conversation with his dad. He says, so Dad, why did Mom lock you out of the house? Dad said, she heard me on the phone with your Uncle Tim talking about running errands. Kid says, so what did you guys do? Uncle Tim went to get a used car and I went to the store to get a tool to scrape paint off the furniture. Well, what's wrong with that? The son asks. Dad says, well, all Mom heard was you go get the escort, I'll get the stripper, and we'll meet up at your place.
Did you hear about the terrorist musician? He's really blowing up the music scene.
Oh, God.
It's so dippy. How about the moose with no name? Yeah, his name is Anonymous. I just
Breaking news,
Yes.
Count Chocula, the state puff marshmallow man, and the Teddy Grahams bear have all perished in a fire.
Oh, no.
We'll have s'more at 11.
The Wizard of Oz is 86 years old. Today, if Dorothy were to encounter men with no heart, no brains, and no courage, she wouldn't be in Oz. She'd be in D.C.
Oh.
That's true.
Did you know electricians never pay with cash?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they just charge everything.
How do you get a one-armed leftist out of a tree? Wave. Oh, that was naughty.
We got to make fun of the liberals.
Gotta make fun of the liberals. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. I'll be thinking of you guys. Have a great weekend. I love you guys. Peace.